Good morning, um, good afternoon, good evening, good day. We want to welcome you to SKTV. Welcome to each and every one of you. Today is Monday, April April 10th, 2022. We want to welcome all of you to SKTV. Welcome to today's edition. Welcome to the show. Uh, Welcome to the show today. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. It feels good to be back. I think I was gone for what? The weekend? Yes. It feels very, very, very good to be back. Today, we have a lot to talk about. As you can see on the heading, who or what can we trust in Liberia as Liberians? Who or what can we trust in Liberia or as Liberians? Welcome to the show. If you're just joining us, I want to say welcome. Those of you joining us from Australia, Europe, um, in other parts of Asia or in Asia, in the Americas, in Liberia, we want to say welcome, welcome, and welcome to the show. Um, Very interesting things to talk about today. Very interesting talking points. We want to welcome each and every one of you. We want to welcome each and every one of you today to the show. Feel free to share the show. Let's share the show with others. Interesting, important, vital talking points. We have a lot of things to talk about, key things to talk about today. That affect the world, that affect Liberia, and so forth. But let's share the show. We want to reference the Liberian people as the most important people on earth. We do. Overall, we want to reference the Liberian women as the most beautiful women on earth. We seriously mean it, and we do. But in the meantime, let's share the show. Do your best to share the show. Invite someone so that we can get started with the conversation. Let's share the show. I see one of my comrades here, Comrade Daniel Collins. Welcome to the show, Comrade Daniel Collins. Welcome to the show. It's been a while. The last time we hung out was in what, Philadelphia? Yes. It's been a while. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have, like I said, exciting things to talk about. Very exciting, interesting conversations we want to have here today. I know Telvi will be joining us at some point. I know Seku will be joining us at some point. So today you have the entire crew on here today for us to talk. Sorry, on Saturday I couldn't make it. Saturday was so busy. Yeah, it was so busy. Saturday was a busy day for me. I remember Seku calling me. I was so tired. I couldn't make it. There was no way I could make it. But let's invite other people. Please, let's share the show. Let's invite others. Today, like I said, we have a lot of things to talk about. We have been consulting. We have been talking. We'll give you other news. You already know other news. I can be. Other news can be noisy sometimes. But we have to give you other news, whether we like it or not. We'll give you other news. Importantly and interestingly, there are a lot of things to talk about, like I said earlier. And we'll allocate time for we'll allocate time for some of these news. And I think I'll throw this out here in other news to give Senator Darius Dillon credit on this. We'll throw it on in a segment here in a little bit. If you see me sneezing or so forth, please, I don't have the COVID, the allergies, they're raging, especially this time of the year. So it hasn't been easy for some of us who have allergic reactions. The trees are turning green and so forth. My man, Anthony, what's going on, my man? My man, sorry. You know why I'm telling you sorry? I'm not going into detail. Sorry, my man. Sorry, my man. Let me know what's going on with you. Let me know what your story this morning. But I'd like to give Senator Darius Dillon the credit for this. He raised this. He's been raising this, and he's raised this. In other countries, they have adjusted the COVID fees because the U.S. or other partners around the world have provided Liberia and other countries free COVID vaccines and so forth. So citizens can be alleviated from some of these things. So it's important that we talk about some of these things. It's very important that we talk about some of them. In Liberia, people are still paying the COVID fee. And up until now, guess what? Nothing's been done. That's something we'll expand on here. We'll talk about in a little bit. The COVID testing fee. I think it's about time, because it's about time the government, come to terms with reality and do something about this. This needs to be dropped. It's too much. It's a baggage on our people. It's a baggage on our people. For the common citizens who want to travel, for those who are traveling from abroad and coming, up until now, there's been no here, no take for the COVID, the money they've been collecting, the $75 to come in, $75 to go. There's been no account. When you talk, so they say here the government, you talk, the pushes, so they go around the place. They go in big cycles, So yeah, that's one of the trending news. In other news, today we in other news. Today we in other news before we get to the real thing. Today we in other news. In other news, it is safe to say that one of our co-workers, one of our panelists, has been doing some extensive research on EULA. Very interesting. On EULA resurfaces. It will interest you to find out that EULA's 501c3 status was revoked. It was revoked. They just made a change in the amendments. They just made a change in the amendment for EULA sometimes in 2020. EULA status was revoked. The 501c3 status was revoked. So, and this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. But hopefully we expand on it as well in other news. In other news. In other news. Yeah, give me 1 second. In other news. In other news, it can be reported here today that in other news, Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai Foundation, his foundation, which they claim is in the US and is going to help people and is going to do this, it's going to do that. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai's foundation fought down inside to the status in the United States is also revoked since 2019. We've been doing some extensive digging. I ain't there. Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai Foundation. They want to say what Joseph Yuma Boakai was saying the other time, coming to Liberia and we're going to get this one, we're going to get that one. They came to talk to collect things to carry. That's scam. I ate that now. That we we just found that inside the few days. We found that inside Vice President Joseph Newman Boaga. They found that inside the status was revoked. Yep. The status was revoked. The 501c3, the organization that they hired, the status was revoked. As a matter of fact, it was established in Rhode Island. The status was revoked. So yeah, so those are other news. Yep, those are other news. But yes, we want to share the show. Today we have interesting points to talk about. We have interesting points to talk about. Somebody asked me if I asked if my sister Esther, my mom want to say revoke that revoke. What are the records are they clear? Go check on the website. Go check on the state website. Sorry, yeah, but we had to talk as it is, yeah. What are they transferring? What are they? Whatever it is the status says is revoked. We're not here to argue. We move. All the medical equipment, yeah, Smith, that way you're right. All the medical equipment are going. I said I was scared. Yeah, I told you already. I said I was scared. Somebody said a little talk mess. I'm talking mess, my sister. I just talking to you. Also, when we're saying other news here that you like, what they call a revoke. Oh, that mess we're talking. Okay, I see your life. I see your life. I see your life, mama. No problem. It ain't any problem. No problem. No problem yet. No problem, mama. Yeah, I don't get a problem with you, yeah. But we're talking as it is. In other news, the foundation that's okay, medical equipment bound. The foundation in scam. Big scam. The status is revoked. And they're not going to do anything. We told you before when Joseph Boaga came here. That all that thing was on, that shenanigans. Who said it here? You say we hate the old man, we hate the papi. When we say Joey, you say we hate the ball. We hate it, man. Okay. But the other scam will not bring her again. My people that lie, yeah, they lie to you. It was revoked. Oh, somebody asked me on what grounds. We're getting the grounds on what grounds. Don't worry, my brother. We get it. The reporting rains out from here. Yeah. We're not going to go out there. We're not talking about we're talking the fact. We're talking the truth. I don't care who if Alexander coming on stuff is revoked, we're talking. Anybody stuff that is revoked, we're talking. You get status in the country revoked, that's something. That did that thing. But yes, so those are in other news. We even get to the major conversation here today, but we'll get to it. What the guy named Bill Carson. My man, I said Bill Carson on time. If you do, wow. Bill Carson, my man, will restore your status. So I know you're fooling us or what's going on, but we'll have to restore your status, to be very, very frank. Bill Carson saying you want to know on what status, we can give you the status, my brother. Don't want to know anything. This status giving you a umpa. Emmanuel, my man, I'm not talking mess, brother. That is true, I'm talking here. Yeah, hey, my brother, that is true, I'm talking. Then people say, lead the people, then people say, I'm talking mess. When I'm talking, they say this and they say that. You're sorry. Sorry. I will not talk again. I will not talk again. You're sorry, yeah? You're sorry. Let me get to the information, Bill Carson, really quick before we can share the show and then come back and go into this topic. Because today, the show looking like it will be noisy. Yep. The show even started noise not start. The show it will be. The show looking like it will be noisy today. The how it looking. Hold on now. The whole show here looking today. Look, it'll be. Give me a second now. Let me. So the status were revoked. They failed to file the annual report. They failed to file the annual reports. Bill Carson, yeah, the status was revoked because they failed to file the annual report since 2019. 2019, send that time they fail to file the annual report. There's America. You do what it's all do, the people will do what they're supposed to do because people are working. My man, Smith that way. You want put me say you want United Party to cost me today again? Leave me. I don't want to be in noise. I like here for that. I only say what in other news and we move. I say what in other news and we move. I don't want to get in no trouble with nobody. United Party put as someone knows again. My man, people can deal with me once. The other news I wanted to talk general, I was holding my mom, but I had to talk it for all the guys really quick. But yes, no, all joke aside. All joke aside. All joke aside. All joke aside. No disrespect to anybody, but that's where we are. But let's share the show. We'll come out today to talk together our talking points. Let's share the show. We had to get into all the news today really quick, and we'll move from there. But let's share the show. We're back. I miss you guys, man, on the weekend. You know why I was gone? I listened to the show. There's some people that called and they decided to attack me. Is that any problem? Is that any problem? Come with all your attacks. Is that any problem? Some of you went as far as you went personal. And therefore it's interesting, but we leave those personal attacks. Don't leave the personal attack. Let's stay on the issue. Yeah, don't forget about the personal attacks. I'm begging you. Yeah, just stay on the issue. If you don't want me to hear your petition or you go protest, SKTV will lower to it. They will let me go. I like a problem with when they let me go. I'll be happy because I'll be chilling. I'll be watching you. I'll put my phone in the couch and be watching you. No, but on some serious note, I heard some people I listened to some people that took the opportunity. Some people took the opportunity to throw jabs at me, to come after me, to try to disrespect me or whatever it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. We got a message. We're strict. We're cool. No wahala, no issues. We're not taking it personal. No issues. But let's share the show. Uno copyright to the song that's about to play. Right after here, we will get into our conversations for today and our talking points. Thank you for helping us to share the show. Let's move.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's greet one or two people really quick. Let's acknowledge you before we get into the conversation, before we get started. We got one or two announcements too as well that we'll pass on to you really quick. Let's let's greet one or two people here. Bill Carson. Wait up, Bill Carson, because the other time I put you on blast, so you think that you're just becoming on the show early than that now? Well, you can get a chance to let the show start. You just show fit. Okay. Angie Liberty, welcome to the show. Darlington, my man, hello, all settled, hello, all good. But we'll talk. We'll talk after the show. Rosalind Deeks, welcome to the show. Anthony C. Welcome to the show, my man. Let me know if you ready, you have input or whatever it is, signal me. You already know. Is that called Kate Dolo? Called Kate Dolo, welcome to the show. Smith Dawei, welcome to the show. The man who won't put me in trouble. When you need to party people. The man who won't get me in trouble, you need to party people. That won't buy, will not work. Vivian, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Vivian. Let's see who else. Who's next? Vivian. Umentro, welcome to the show. Esther K. Richards. Esther Richards, welcome to the show. Good seeing you. Unless you right, we wouldn't know. Is that Deb Ross? Deb Rose, who said, talk about your candidate. Deb, I don't know my candidate. I don't know if I even get candidate, mama. I still looking so. But I just you independent. Unless you want to tell me that you get candidate, and then you let me know what's up. But I ain't got no candidate, mama. So I'm looking yet. If you think you get a better candidate that can make the kids or I can make it happen, tell me. We can look into that candidate. But I ain't got no candidate, mama. We already talked about Vivian. Let's move down the list here. Emmanuel, welcome to the show. Randall, what's up, my man? Cool to see you. Happy morning, my man. You stay talking about Musa Belede MOU. And then you forgot to watch the show here the other time when Musa Belede said he doesn't care about any MOU or whatever it is. But you can always reach out to the Liberty Party to ask them about Musa Belede MOU. You can. If not, refer to the show we had the other time. I see you talking about April 15 nearing. I don't know what April 15 means. Ladi Fofana, welcome to the show. Rebecca Gisu, welcome to the show. Dagon T, what's up? Yo, today I'm Monday, we're playing Friday. Dagon T, Crete, my nieces and my nephew, I told them the other time to give you a hard time. I hope they are. I hope they're giving you a hard time. I really hope they're giving you a hard time. Unplugging all your TVs and all your stuff. I hope they're doing so. Yes. I really hope they're doing so. And if they're not doing it next time, when I start by them Minnesota, I'll come to the house and teach them how to do it. I'll stop by to the house in Minnesota and show them all the tricks, what to do. Yes, I will do that. Joseph Dukley, welcome to the show. Jonah Tia, welcome to the show. Ayatu Pangura, welcome to the show. Oh, so when I can give my nephew and my nieces direct code to do what they're supposed to do. Come on now. Instead of that, just letting you have free time, be resting. Let them get your time. I don't think anything wrong with that one. Yeah, so let's recap really quick on some of these things that we were talking about. For some of you who follow, and I like to, it's good to give credit to where credit is due. I think that's very important. Senator Darius Dillon has raised this issue about the importance, and I think I'd like to join my voice to his. I think it's critically important that these things be reviewed. I think so. I think it's important that these things be reviewed. I think it is as important as saying that something needs to be looked at. The government is collecting maybe $150 at most from Liberians for COVID testings, for this. Even with that, some of the reports we have been getting and some of the things we have been hearing is, even with that, these people still try to find a way to stay. I don't want to use the word steal money, but no accountability. They take these $150 or $75 for you to come in, $75 for you to go out. Most of the government officials are not even following the COVID regulations or whatever it is. People are moving about their normal businesses, but you put this pressure on citizens, and so forth. And that in itself is a problem. I think something needs to be done. Around the world, COVID seems to be subsiding. But not only that, Senator Darazilon raises a good argument about the fact that the monies that are being collected, first of all, there is no accountability. We don't know where it's going. We don't know who's pocketing these monies. We don't know what's happening with the money, and more likely so, maybe citizens are not even benefiting from it. So that in itself is a problem. So we have a huge problem here in one aspect. Then on top of it, you're put on another aspect, which is very, very concerning. You put on another aspect which is very, very concerning. And I think that needs to be looked into. Seriously, something needs to be done. On top of it, we are giving free COVID treatment or remedy from other people. The vaccines that were brought on the other time, like we were Johnson & Johnson, and it was celebrated and so forth. And we thanked the US and other partners for it. So then collecting this COVID fee or whatever it is, I mean, other countries, they've alleviated some of these pressure on the citizens. They have. And so that's where we are with this whole COVID thing, and it's very concerning. The government needs to do something about it. You can't just be collecting the money for the COVID thing. When we say, I don't understand, man. I don't understand. What kind of government is so we hide every day that someone has scammed? Yes, that's truth. The government is still collecting the COVID fees. And the citizens are benefiting from it. No hair, no tail, like we can say in Liberia. And here we are stuck. And not only that, we're gathering reports that sometimes they will even manipulate the COVID results only to get money from people or to push you around. You got to get the other person small thing. You got to get the other person small thing. You got to get the other person small thing. It's like, what's going on? What kind of trouble we see so? The world can say, like, bro, what kind of trouble we see so? So these are very concerning. These are very concerning issues. These are very, very concerning issues. And Senator Darazilon, wrote a very beautiful piece about this. I think it's worth reading. Other countries, let's just be honest. The COVID cases in Liberia have subsided. I don't even know if they're reporting like before. I'm not even sure. Thank God for that. But then to be collecting this $75 or $150 from people that no account, come on now. Come on. We're asking the, we're asking the legislatures to try to, reason why our people look into this thing. To be very honest, this COVID fee cannot continue. This is not something that the Liberian people are benefiting. and the COVID is not like before or so forth, you know. And people are flying in. The good thing is it's become mandatory when you, especially when you're flying from abroad, that you have to have some kind of, verification or your COVID testing results, or your shot results, something that will prove that, and with all of this, and you guys are still doing this thing, yo, come on, man. Yo, come on, this cannot continue. You cannot keep pressuring our people like this. This is absolutely wrong. And then somebody pointed out, yeah, our eye is in darkness with all of that. The health ministry, up until now, there can be no account. Who's really, really in charge of this money? We have no clue. We have no idea. We're still wondering ourselves. No one can give you any account. This is becoming problematic. I hope the legislature will do something about it. I do hope so. They will do something about it. I really, really do hope so. I hope the legislature can really, really look into this and not play around with it. This thing needs to be looked at. And yes, it's time for it to be reconsidered. It's time for it to be reconsidered. It's time for us to get serious as a nation. And it's time for some form of accountability and so forth. We can't keep just pushing everything, down the pipeline. Another thing, like we said earlier, I hope very soon Tel V can join us, because we definitely need to have I don't want to say this is a female conversation, but this really has to do with females issues. I don't want to leave the women out. I don't. I would hope she would come on very, very soon so we can talk about some of these things. This thing is getting very, very interesting, my people. Very, 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 very interesting. Let me put it that way, my people. And we're not scaring nobody. This is not a scare tactic. And this is not to make anyone afraid of anything. But these are just facts. We want to talk about women's issue. And we are hoping that, Tel V can lend her voice to this particular one. Again, let's go back to recap on something before we get into that conversation, because today, as you can see on the caption, who or what can we trust as Liberians? It seems like everything is fading and failing us to some extent, even religion, but we'll get into that. Who can we really, really trust as Liberians? And where do we go? There's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of fears. There's a lot of confusion. But on top of it, there's a lot of noise in the country. Who can we really, really trust? And where can we go? The institutions. The other time we're laughing here and other people are laughing and joking about it, when former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf asked about the Good Governance Commission. That's another question again that needs to be asked. It needs to be asked. Today we will talk a little bit about leges. In just a few minutes here, we'll talk about leges. These are institutions, these are places, these are institutions that are supposed to serve the people, supposed to serve as integrated institution. We had the other time, we had Wamodiki over there. Can you imagine? They took Wamodiki out, they brought Kanyo Bagbala. No disrespect to his name, but I don't know. He came there with so much, before he could come on, so much drama, so much noise. He came on, he fought her inside again he was implicated into some form of bribery and stealing or whatever it is, corruption. So where are we headed? You look to the judiciary system, guess who you have? You have somebody like Serena Cephas then with a huge funny character. Bad rap sheet, we say in America. Very, very bad rap sheet. They're running the courts. We have a problem on our hands. To be very honest, we have our problem. We have a serious problem on our hands as a people. We do. On top of it, today, one of the questions that has been asked, we want to talk about what can be done in terms of abuse, violence, SGBV within the country and out of the country. Can you imagine up until now, the case with Princess Cooper? Everything seems stalled. And everything seemed to have gone back to business as usual. My people, let me say the Liberian way, we're having problems. We're having problems. We're having some serious problems and we are overlooking it. We're having problems. We're having big, big problems on our hands. Big, big problems. Can you imagine? Up until now, we have heard nothing about this whole princess case. Not from the family, and nothing from the family was updating on mountain pressure, nothing. This is getting to be troublesome and worrisome. Even in the United States, most recently, we heard about the killing, stabbing of a Liberian woman in Minnesota by her husband. We're having problems. We're having problems. Most recently, we have been watching and listening to the Nigerians. Just before I come to this gospel artist, there is a Nigerian young guy that was apparently killed, stabbed also by a white girl. And then, as all of you and as I also read, heard, listened to, a gifted natural singer from Nigeria was killed. Now, these things are not mutually exclusive to Liberians. But I want to focus this conversation on Liberians. I really, really want to bring this conversation home to Liberians. You're sorry for a second. Tell V it's reaching out to me here. Let me get to her really quick. I want to focus this conversation on Liberians. How many Liberian women, girls, that might not even report the case, as we're seeing the princess case, are killed? Imagine we have a country like the United States where somebody stabbed their wife and killed them. Think about places like Liberia, where the rule of law is compromised. up to the point that when you want to hold people accountable, they come and compromise the family. Some of the family willingly compromise. Just imagine. Just imagine. I will digress just a little bit, and I will bring somebody on that want attention. Mr. Givler wrote a very good one. Mr. Givler Pay, Goya, stop discussing what you have limited knowledge about. Why is it that before you leave where you are right now to go to another country, you have to get tested for COVID-19? Is Liberia on another planet? You oppositions really have nothing to offer the people of Liberia but to engage in criticism without showing solutions. There are a lot of development going on in Liberia, but you refuse to discuss them. Mr. Givler, first of all, thank you for your comment. I think you are out of touch with reality. While I'm in the United States, when I want to travel or before I travel, I'm only required to go get my COVID vaccine free of charge. No one charges me a dime, 5 cents. They only required me to go get my COVID shots free of charge. It is free. And I can go to almost every health sector or center here to get it free of charge. So you are missing the point. I understand that you want to make a point to support the government or to support the people that you're supporting. That's fine. That is your right. There's nothing wrong with that. But please stay with the facts and realities, please. Please stay with the facts and reality. I think you would agree with me that the $75 is unnecessary. The government can, even when we proffered suggestions or solutions, the government wouldn't take it because we are not like you, who think that you can defend everything. Even the one that don't make sense, you defend it. We're not like you. No one is speaking evil of the government. We're speaking just the truth. And here is the truth of the matter. Here is the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is the government can institute a means without charging people. So what about people who present their COVID? You are asking somebody from America to help you with COVID vaccines and shots or whatever it is. And somebody is coming from America with the COVID record, the shot record that they used to get on a plane. Liberia does not even have a plane. The last time I checked, the president sat to the airport, he and Maxwell Kimia and other people, and they lied to us that they were going to bring Air Liberia or whatever it is. So you agree, you take on, you ask for vaccines here. In Liberia, you acknowledge the driver license from here. Also, when it comes to the COVID record, the COVID shot record, you can't acknowledge it. You can't respect it. Come on now, my brother. Let's be rational here, please. Let's make sense. We're adults. Let's not make excuses or whatever it is. We're telling the government they can institute other means. They can do other things. They don't necessarily have to collect $75 from the people or $150 from the people. And the question I want to leave with you before we get on to serious matters here is, what are they doing with the 1,000, with the 150 that they're collecting? What are they doing with it? Have they told you exactly what they've been doing with it? Since when? When you find out, please give us the report on it, yeah? Come on, government people, in your come on fake names or whatever it is. Be Liberian. Come on, your real name, and let's have a conversation. You want to come on the show, you government minister, or you government propagandist or whatever it is. Come on the show, let's talk. Let's just stick with the facts and the issues. My man, we cannot continue to make excuses for people who are not doing the right thing. The fact that we can even have these conversations openly is a way to help the government. I hope you would see it that way, and I hope the government would see it that way, because that is the intention. That is the intention. The government can develop other plans, and if the government needs better strategy or so forth, then let the government hire people to do it. The government got people that can do it. If they need extended help, let them hire people. People pay for expertise. They pay for people's knowledge. It's not free. It is not free. And in the budget, the government has allocation for net radio or popo, I know whatever nonsense senator are talking that day with Rafazi and Samurai Worokoli, then they can hire, other people. Javi, it's good to have you on the show without camera. Can you hear me? I think Javi is on, but she's not ready to come on yet.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's good to have you on the show without camera.
Good afternoon, happy Monday. And yes, I apologize. I'm just not camera ready. I'm too comfortable.
Okay.
I apologize. And I want to greet everybody. Hope they had a good weekend. Our viewers around the world, and we're glad to be on again to just add some value to issues that really matter in the country, in and around the country.
Okay. Well, it's been a while since we've been on. We're discussing women issue. I know you do have an organization that I'm part of, and as a disclaimer, I serve on a board in that organization discussing SGBV and women issue. Tell what say you about what's going on, maybe around the world, but I'd like to zoom it in or take it back home.
Yeah.
What say you about this SGBV thing that's going on? Women abuse. Most recently, that naturally gifted Nigerian singer was killed by her
Hmm.
husband. What say you? What's really going on?
It's very concerning. It's been around for a while and it's almost like a lifestyle. So I think we need to start talking about, not I think, we need to start talking about it more and more. Our culture can be toxic in a way, in certain aspect. And I know that for a fact because not only, and not somebody would say, oh, because you be in America so long, you not become Americanized or whatever the word is. It's not that. Even in Liberia, we knew somehow the culture in some ways just toxic. But I think it's important that we emphasize more and more uh, gender-based violence, specifically domestic violence, because Steve, like you always say, it starts from the home. These things start from Liberia, from Africa, and we bring them to America. I've heard so many cases of domestic violence in Liberia. I mean, in America. It started from there again, the same culture, the same, family, friends, or pastors see the warning signs, and you got the victim complaining about these things. And the thing they can talk you into, talk about coaching or talk about counseling. They're just something things you can't counsel about, especially when a person is being violated in that way, being abused. And I know you mentioned the nonprofit, but other than the nonprofit, I too, I mean, I feel proud to share the story that I'm a victim of domestic violence. So every time I hear a situation about that, it hits home, and especially a loss of life. Because think about a lady in Minnesota. Think about it. This singer. I used to listen to that woman music so much, so inspiring. It just it reminds me all the time that I could have been one of those people. I would have been dead because of that. If I had not ran off like a fugitive, like we're laughing about, like really a fugitive, because I left as a fugitive, left everything behind and left the country. So it's very personal. I've been traumatized just hearing all of that. Some things can be avoided, and I think we need to talk about that. But before we even go deep into domestic violence or gender violence, Steve, we mentioned the COVID stuff, and somebody tried to come after you, which is fine. We love opposing views. People have to understand the world was not ready for COVID, so they quickly put processes in place, including the Great America Win. But even as things change, including work and everything else and everything, people they tweak their processes, they reevaluate. It's a constant evaluation, constant monitoring, so that to make sure it measure up to changing times. I've always been concerned about that money that they're collecting at the airport for several reasons. Obviously, I'm very big on taxpayers' money and how it's spent. But
Hmm.
besides that, when we leave this country, we're already vaccinated. And then before we leave to go international, for any reason. I haven't traveled in a while, but I'm just giving you a scenario because I know a lot of friends that have traveled. You have to take that you got to take that exam again, or assessment again to validate that you're free of COVID, and it has to be done within 24 or 48 hours. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere in that window. So that's a reasonable time. I take it within, say, 48 hours. I'm COVID free because the test shows that other than me taking all my vaccine, I have record that I've taken all my vaccine, including booster. 48
Mm-hmm.
hours, I'm COVID free. So I go to Liberia. What's the point of me paying, other than the money that I'm paying? What's the point of me taking taking that getting exam again? So that tells me you nullify the whole process here. You
Right.
don't trust the process, and you don't have a better process than what we have here. So what made your process so good of a process other than collecting money? And then you collect the money, you cannot account for the money. You're not giving quarterly reports. You're addressing the public to say, we collected this money, we spend it for airport improvement, we spend it to buy equipment, we spend it to buy, facial recognition, or whatever you want to call it, or we use it for some things at JFK. You just mute about the whole thing. Okay, I enter the country, I stay for some time. Reasonable if I stay for 2 weeks, but as I'm leaving, you do a basic test right there. Two things you can do. I can again use the same process, send me off site, somewhere before I even get to the airport. Have some hubs around that I can go to and take my test before I come to the airport. If I don't have time to do it and I come to the airport to do it, then it must be a reasonable amount, like $25 or whatever it is, because I've already gone through the process. I've already been fully vaccinated or whatever it is. So that is just an extra precaution, but the price should not be that high. And again, talking about accountability and all of that. So I'm confused about all of this. And I think if at minimum, the process needs to be reevaluated, looking at the best practices of other countries around them. I don't even want to go far and say international, but other countries around them, because that's how you get better. You look at what others are doing, others in the industry, others around the world, and then you tweak your process.
Right.
So I think it's worth echoing, it's worth hammering on, and it has, I mean, no doubt it has to be evaluated. And the money, we can't stress that enough, the money has to be accounted for. They just can't just be quiet about it. You know, it doesn't work that way.
Exactly. So the money has to be accounted for. That's important because that's a lot of money over the months, over the years. Maybe over a year or two now, they've been collecting that money. Where has it been going? Who's been using it? What have they been using it for? All of these questions. When you ask these questions, when you ask the critical questions, people say you hit. But let's go back to something quick before we get into this SGBV conversation really quick, because our next question will incorporate the church and other institutions and family and so forth. I know you've been doing some extensive research on this whole EULA thing. What did you find? What's going on with EULA and what's going on with them?
So, in the interest of full disclosure, so naturally, I just love digging. I'm just looking at stuff. I mean, to understand, to satisfy my own curiosity, and to based on the past work that I've done. I mean, I spent most of my time working in government, even doing auditing for a very long time. Now, I don't do paper audit. I do system audits and IT security audits, but still a lifestyle. So this EULA thing, I think the concerning thing for me to satisfy my curiosity is I want to know whether they're 501(c), or they're 501(c)(4), because then I want to know, then I would know what is right or wrong for them that they're doing. Also, I need to know if they're being compliant, that it is what I'm a member or not. By default, I'm a member because if I'm part of a state organization, they're the parents, I am part. But we need to know what they have been going. Interestingly, what's been going on with them. Interestingly, they've been existing, is my understanding, since 1974. And I look at their Facebook page, 175 followings. So that tells me you're not doing your work right. Because if you're doing what you should be doing, living up to your objectives and all the things that you stand for, you're saying you represent Liberian people, your following should be more than 175 people who are just came to existence talk about SKTV, other groups, they're having 10,000 viewers, followings. So what are you doing if you're representing all of us? That's the first thing. So I did find out some things. I'm also trying to find out more things and also see if they have been compliant over the years. So I found out that, in a way that they're at one point in time, I'm still digging though. I found out at one point in time that their status were revoked. It could be for many reasons. It could be because the government is very strict to certain things. If you don't file they call it Form 990. If you don't
Yes.
file your state requirement at a certain time, they will revoke you up to 3 years, and or for fraud or other reasons. So I want to know, and I can find out. I mean, there's no violation there. As a public citizen, anybody else can either write or go on the website. Everything about them should be public because they're a public organization, including the EIN. What I also found out interestingly that I think all part of all of the noise, they've been updating their website, with current information, putting the pictures, put 100-day plan and all these things. I'm just like, your day short with that. So it's a working process. We're not there yet, but I'm going to look at from the federal and the state guidelines just to make sure they're compliant, again, for my own satisfaction, not for anything else.
Okay. Well,
Then when they collect their money, it's EQS. I mean, also when they collect that money, if they do, I will hope they would not. But if they do, then again, it's within our rights to request that they be evaluated. And certainly, I would do it. I've done it for another organization that was in the state with, and IRS did evaluate them. And they know the details. I'm not going to disclose the details. There's no boasting about it. If we have to come to that, we'll get to that. There are
okay.
provisions for that.
Okay. There are provisions for that, and I know for sure that this thing with EULA is not going away anytime soon. There are a lot of research that's going on, and we're waiting to hear from EULA. They're making consultations. As a disclaimer, last week we had a big meeting as part of the leadership, and the final decisions will be made, and then we can go from there as a people or whatever now. But yes, I think
you put in those meetings, I mean, who are they? Are they 501(c) or are they 501(c)(4)? You would better tell us. Who are they? In my opinion, anybody can change their status anytime. You can be 501(c) yesterday and a few days later it changed. So maybe they changed from 3 to 4 to include that political aspect of it. But I know initially when they started at 501(c). And I talked to one or two people that have been in the organization for probably 10 years or more. They told me they are 501(c). So
yes, as far as I'm concerned, that is the status. So that's where we're talking last time. That's where it becomes sticky, because you can't claim one status and want to benefit from something else. That's a conflict of interest, and that can be a confusion. So EULA might be joking with this, but it could land them into some serious trouble. It's a serious problem.
they need to post their financial statements on their website. That's public information. They need to do that.
Yes, because when people started digging into some of these things, or ask the IRS to audit them or go after them or check some things out, it could become a problem down the line. It could become a problem. And when we say these things, people who don't know or people who don't understand how they work, they think that you're against a certain group of people or so forth. But these are problems. So this whole thing that they're playing joke with, and the thing that money that the government's promising or pledging or whatever it is, as far as I'm concerned, the money has not been received. It has not been given as per the meeting we had. So I know that for a fact. The money has not been given, or just a pledge. Nothing has been redeemed. And consultations are still going on as to if the money should be accepted or not. On the record, when I was given the opportunity to speak, I made it clear that the money should be returned to the government. They should give it back to them. There is no need to get it from the government when we can raise money here. We can employ strategies, we can do things to ensure that money is raised the proper way without any kind of noise or any kind of problems. And I topped it off by saying to them that this could be a sting on the organization for the rest of the existence of this organization and the current leadership. It will not go away because I know our people. Once and we as humans, once you start to do this funny little thing and people start to feel skeptical about you, rest assured that you screwed. You ain't going anywhere. It's not going
But
anywhere. People will
but
not
the
even
thing
want
about
to
it is,
engage into it. Hmm.
I mean, you lot already have a credibility issue. They already have a character issue, and then the least you want is to have this entanglement. And I'm glad you were able to, state your position, because based on the last talk show that I listened to with the president and the vice president, they seem adamant about cutting the money and justifying why they should get it. Why the thing is necessary. In fact, the other lady, I think she's a vice president, went to the extent to say that, oh, in Minnesota, whatever state, the government gave Somalian people money through the Somalian representative or senator, whoever she is, the lady, very pretty lady. But she didn't understand, they just talk without understanding the inner workings, or they refuse to understand. The government of America not going to give somebody money the way McGill gave them money. You go through a very rigorous process and for a very long time. It is not a one man's decision. Neither is it a one department decision. And that's what they don't understand. And they try to justify all of this. But we'll be following closely. That's all I can say about the EULA stuff. I will hope they would not take that money, regardless of the 100-day plan or 10,000-day plan. But if they do, we will hold them accountable in every way. What about US standards, Liberia standards, or our own MUF standards? We'll hold them accountable. I can promise them that much.
Okay. So let's get back to the SGBV stuff, because last time also the vice president Joy Howard Taylor made a statement, and there's been this huge backlash. There's been this huge noise. And just for the record, we've been trying to establish some kind of contact with the vice president as to clarify some of these statements, to focus on this statement, and also to provide insight on some of these statements, some of the things that have been happening. What do you say about the vice president's statement in reconciliation with what is going on today around us? What is your position? What the vice president said in terms of parenting and rape and so forth? What do you say?
First of all, Jura Howard Taylor should be the last one to even want to be the poster person for this. She has never been, over time, whether in office or out of office or out of her position, leading this and resounding this. You can't be somebody of double standards. I understand, though, there's some instances where parents put their children in harm's way. Say, for example, the child may be complaining to that mother who got a boyfriend in the house and say, your boyfriend is molesting me, or your husband is molesting me. And the parent would say, you know what? You lying on my husband, you lying on my boyfriend, because at that time they're in love, whatever it is. But equally, Joa Howard too is guilty of that. She is guilty of that. It starts from the home. So if parents need to hold the children accountable, then she needed to hold herself accountable. Start from her own son. Start from her own daughter. Start from her grandbaby. It be start for the children that live in her home. Start from herself. All of the abuse and everything she took from her ex-husband. When her ex-husband was doing everything in Liberia, should she say anything? Whether about herself or about others? No, she was quiet. She was quiet. Has she been vocal about the gender violence that in the country, or about other things? So sometimes these people talk, they just talk just to be heard. And it's someone that is all for their own gains. So why she's saying that, but I also feel too, she's taking the burden, the responsibility from government to the parent. No, you need to do more. And if you are not focusing on your private nonprofit, then you will be leading this charge 100%. And then you will be giving your all to it. So you don't put the responsibility on parents. Yes, We understand the parents need to be educated about that, about it more and more, putting the children in harm's way. But government need to do more as far as educating, getting the communities, getting to the schools, putting handouts, doing a lot more. And that's what she's lacking because she's too busy running her private project, which is similar to the government project. So she needs to have a seat because it's all about her. There's no genuine. I can't even say the word. She's not genuine about it. I said it. Where was her voice years ago, decades ago? Yesterday. It starts from the home, but it also starts from her home too. So should we hold her responsible? Yes. So when she's pointing her finger to the other people, she need to point her finger to herself and say, you know what, I'm too, I'm guilty of it. Instead of just blaming family, worry. Yes, that's true. I get it. But you're not any different. So that's my take with Joy Howard Taylor.
Good. And I agree with you that she does have a point. Some people might see it as her taking all the responsibility for the government and so forth. I think this is an interesting place to be, and I really hope that she would afford us the opportunity to have this conversation as to why she said this, what are factors that contributed to her statements. But on the other hand, also, like you said, she could be a victim as well. Look at how some people might take this personal and so forth, but maybe we can use a case study and say, okay, what has been your life? What does parenting look like to you? All of these different factors need to be taken into consideration. But that's a good point. But let's come back to this.
But Steve, though, to your point, if she's a victim, we all know she was at that place for several reasons, one of which is the name. Then you would take ownership and say, you know what, I too was just where you were, but I couldn't say what I said. So I know exactly what it is. Then you point one finger to yourself while you pointing 9 to others, but you remove yourself from the equation, like you injure Mary or Mother Mary. No, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You're part of the solution, and you need to take initiative. You need to lead this charge in more ways than pointing finger at other people. That's what it is.
Lead a charge. So could the question now be, how can she use her office to prevent some of this bad parenting?
Can she use her office? Obviously. I mean, she can use her office. I mean, she can use her office if she's not too busy chasing her own agenda and her own private projects. She can use her office. Why not? She's a woman by default anyway, and she can use her office. She can use her role. So she can also get in the communities too and lead some of those awareness. I mean, who is a better person to lead domestic violence than the victim? Because you've walked that shoes. Who the better person to talk about sexual assault than the victim? You've experienced it. Other people can talk about it, but once you walk that road, you have first-hand information. But to be pointing fingers all day and just on the Instagram and looking for likes and comments, nobody got time for that. And if you say, let me tell you, Steve, if you say the right thing, you don't have to correct it.
Exactly.
You got to correct it. Why are you correcting? If you say the right thing, you're convicted of what you say, you don't have to correct it. That tells me and tell many that you did not do the right thing. And so you need to do some soul searching.
Okay. Well, you need to. But let's come back to the most recent things that are going on in the SGBV in the country, like you said earlier on. Something needs to be done. The way the government is ran and the way things are going, who do you think can help us in this context? Tell, especially when it comes to women issue, because this is part of my take. To be very honest, this is part of my take, and I'm going to be honest. I say this over and over. I repeat myself on here, and I'm unapologetic about my position. I believe most Liberian women are undermining women's interest up to the point wherein they do not stand together on gender-based violent issues for women, considering even the gender minister is a woman, is not a man. But the only time we heard the gender minister speaking was when something was said or was written about the president's wife. We don't hear anything. We don't see anything's being done. What do you say about this? And women are split across the aisle on these things that have to do with gender-based violence or issue. Look at the princess Cooper's case. That's seemed like it's stalled. No information is coming out. No information is going in. Can't even hear about the family. What do you say, Tell?
The issue about women not playing together or working together. Steve, I'll be very honest with you. While we want to talk in our context or in our setting, that's just women around the world.
Okay.
Even in other, whatever Nigeria, wherever it is, it's just us. I don't know. It's just our making, wherever it is, but that's just us. I'm serious. I've heard it enough, and not only from our culture, but because we understand our situation a lot more. But you talking about, like we said, what can be done. At this point, we cannot rely on the government. Pisota,
Okay.
like you said, she's just there to keep her job. So she would do what it takes to keep her job. Carry George Weah breakfast every morning. Make her stop every day to George Weah office before I go to my office. I make a statement only when it affects my president's wife because I need to keep my job. This woman comes to a ULA conference. Every opportunity that you have to speak to people, especially diasporans, that was your opportunity. She sat there and talked about, on behalf of me and my family, I pledged 1,005 or 2,005, and I look at her just like, Pisa, you're never gonna get it. That was her opportunity first to talk about the Trinity case, because this precious girl case was Trinity at the time, to address the gender issues in the country, challenges, accomplishment, and ask for collaboration with the diaspora folks. I need your help. We can't do that alone. You guys know how gender issue is. It's a big task all around the world.
Right.
But we're willing to work. That was a place to call, a place that she could call, do a call to action. Did she do nothing? Did she do it? No. She sat there giggling with the other one from Maritime, no her name, Nocal, and they were playing like they were to the high school party. And I look at them, I'm just like, who put these people in power? Who put these ones in government? Her children are safe in Minnesota. Her mother is safe. I don't know about her husband. I don't know what he is. They're enjoying the privilege and the commitment of a government here to protect its citizens. So why can't you do the same? Why can't you do the same? Because yours is protected. So I think the citizens just need to do what they need to do. Because if you rely on the government's already failed into protecting the citizens. So the citizens, including us who know better, will help them to protect themselves, like we're doing now. And like our group, we get into the classrooms. We're into public schools and and talking to the kids there, giving them flyers. We're sometimes we go into the community with the megaphones. Whatever we can go in the marketplaces and stuff like that. I'm sure some people have seen our, post videos and stuff like that. We just have to do what we have to do, because even in this country, with all the resources and, government trying to do the best, there's still, private organizations that come in too to boost government effort. But over there, the government ain't doing nothing. So we got to be government as well as good citizens. So we just have to do what we have to do, Steve, until the table turns. I'm not sure when.
We have to do what we have to do until the table turns. For how long though? Because this is getting tiring. When you have government officials, whether current or ex-government officials, first of all, they're using resources that should be allocated for these kind of things. And citizens who are in and out of the country are contributing immensely. They are not even recognizing the contribution of these citizens. They are there bashing us. And once you open your mouth, the first thing they tell you, oh, where you contributing? Oh, you're not supposed to talk into this. You're jealous of the government. You're do this, you're do that. I mean, at what point do we ourselves now put our foot down like the American government is doing now? They're not going to feed into this nonsense anymore. I mean, the things that they've already signed are in the pipeline. They're going to make it happen. But going forward, until these guys can show some sense of accountability and responsibility and show that they're ready to govern, these people are not going to invest their money. Nobody wants to be investing their money somewhere where people are living big lives and impressing the citizens. They're crying for money, but here they are promising 100,000 when the streets are dirty, when
Mhm.
cases are, I mean, at what point do we put ourselves together and say, you know what, this is enough is enough?
You
At
know,
what point do we do that?
I agree with you, Steve. And sometimes I'll be very honest with you, in as much as I'm not a partisan to CPP, but I think that was a sure way to get rid of this bad government and the bad governance and just everything bad about them. That was the easiest way to do it. But here we are now. So sometimes, like our children, we have to give them tough love. We can educate the citizens so that they can vote right. That's the most we can do, because the change can only come at the ballot box. So we can educate them. We can still continue to do the advocacy work. Obviously, we're not going to stop. But if they vote wrong and go and vote bad government again, which for our education looks like it, then at some point in time we gotta pull the plugs. We have to pull the plugs and say, you know what? You made your bad decision. You live with it. I will love you from a distance. We'll have to do it.
Tell you a big component that we haven't really spoken about, which brings me to the next conversation here, is actually the role of the church, the Muslim community, and we've spoken about the government. But what is the role of the church? We'll break it down, or the religious group, because we can blame the government all we want, but these are big institutions or groups or religion that constitute a bigger size, or even the government, because even the president goes to church.
Mhm.
I understand that he has a church, and I understand that we do all kind of stupidness over there and foolishness. If I were if I were somebody who was regulating these places, or the Christian community, if I were in charge, I would ask the president to either close that church down. They should start misbehaving there, because they don't do anything that besides gossips and bunch of foolishness. But that's a side point. Where's
That's
the
a
role of the church?
constitutional violation. Free to
What,
worship.
what's the role of the church though? Yeah, free to worship, but I want the president to go there, be gossiping, talking a bunch of foolishness when people are dying. Remember, it was a simple. The president stood and said, the people were having an affair in the car,
Right.
and talk a bunch of nonsense, talk loosely that day. When you talk to them and say, "Oh, you don't respect the president," but the president said foolishness, I will say the president said foolishness. There's nothing
But he
about
shouldn't have
disrespecting.
said what he said. I mean,
It
words
was
got
reckless. It
meaning.
was immature for him.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have said that. And not his business. He should shut his mouth. He should shut his mouth and think about it and talk about the things that are important, the things that he's supposed to be talking about. I hate area to go talk about that. But let's get to this part, because this part is very important. What do you think the role of the church is? Please connect this with the most recent reports that we've heard from the lady in Nigeria who was killed by her husband, about this church issue, and how people are brainwashed into different things or so forth. What do you say?
I think need to the church need to do more and be honest with people, instead of in a way, um, s- sometimes they can be misguiding. And the reason I say that, in the context of the abuse situation, everything, sometimes they see the red flags. And not all churches, don't get me wrong, there, or viewers, don't get me wrong, I go to church every Sunday. I was born and raised in church, and so nothing against the church, or anybody for that matter, but we must say as it is. Most of the churches, they want to preach this prosperity gospel. They want to preach everything else, but the things that they should be preaching, or telling the congregation, they do not, especially about voting rights, voting the right way, and they're also about domestic violence or forms of violence. I've heard, I have experienced where the pastor will come to think he can counsel somebody who's constantly being abused in a relationship. You're just go for counseling. Oh, let's pray. And you'll pray. He talk and you'll pray. and the next day or 2 days after, you get another kick or you get another slap. So I think that the church, be honest, it is not just little women, but it just happening that women always the ones that being violated the most. But it'll be very honest and tell people, look, there's some things that just we can counsel about. And if he's hitting you, or if she's hitting you, or whatever it is, children or not, you need to separate. They need to separate. That person is a broken person, and they just need to go get their healing. Because love is not violent. It's not abusive. That thing. When we're growing up her a little bit, it said, you know what? The man gotta beat me before he showed me that he loved me. No, no, it is not that way. You find you get more when you're more loving, when you're caring, and all of that. You get more of the person. At least I know that works for me. And who understand who wants to be abused in exchange for love? I don't understand. That is not a love language. That is not a love language. And so the church needs to talk more about it. Talk about a lady, allegedly, that mean the lady, the one, the Nigerian lady. It was we heard allegedly the pastor was heavily involved, telling the woman to stay there or whatever it is. you know Even I will tell you, Steve, a personal experience, and it's been many more than decades since I got divorced. But I know when I was in Liberia, where a pastor of a big Baptist church came to George case when I was complaining of being beaten, stepped on, kicked, all of that, and talking me to stay into an abusive marriage. And I was just, are you guys serious? Talk about family influence too. So the culture where they will tell you, oh, where you going, with the two children? Look at me here, my husband up on 5 children also, I stay there. They think that small thing. So the culture, we talk about a toxic culture. There's some of it there. So we need to do more, because those things happen in Africa, and then we bring it to America. Talk about the lady in Minnesota. Trust me, the abuse don't just stop over and start over. The killing or whatever it is doesn't just start overnight. It starts from yelling. It starts from slap.
Yep.
Then it escalates. My ex-husband started from yelling. He put then it went from slap. Then it went to a kick. Then it went to broken knee. Then it went to other things. Then it went to a knife. And then it went to a threat where, you know what? I will kill you. And your people will wear black and nothing will come from other aid, because you know what? He knew very well. First of all, that was Liberia. Why you get police officer $20, $50, case closed. Your poor people crying like Princess family, or the people in Minnesota, or the people in Nigeria. Nothing gonna come out of it. And the same behavior comes to America, because I'll tell you, Steve, when I came to America, in Minnesota, 2 different friends that I grew up with, they were in Minnesota. The other one, I witnessed her husband punch her in the nose. The blood was coming from her nose. He jumped through the window. Are you gonna call the police? I said, you gonna call the police? Oh no, I can't wait for the children's sake. I said, feet here the body. I ain't come to America for that one. I packed my bag. I left. I called my visit short and I just left. I went somewhere else. The other one, they used to beat her head, pull her head, beat her head on the wall. I went to her house, hole in the wall. Why this hole in your wall here? My ex-husband. So the husband beat her, kicked her down the stairs, and she told the people later that she fell down her stairs. She was too ashamed to tell anybody that her ex-husband kicked her down the stairs, and she was walking on crutches because she was too ashamed to share the abuse. And so she suffered physical abuse. He poured water in her car engine. He broke everything in her house. I mean, just violently abusive. And they concealed everything because of children. I tell anybody, you can always say, you can tell this whole domestic violence is so personal to me. I walked away from my marriage with a 5 or 6 month old baby, less than 50 months old daughter. Both, I walked away with nothing. Just the clothes that were on me, my baby food, my jewelry, everything else didn't matter anymore. My life was most important.
Tell, can I ask you this question? Because I've
Please
asked this
do.
question to other people before, and I'm trying to, I don't want to say get in the head, but understand the minds of people. What do men or people who abuse women, whether especially physically and so forth, what do they tell the women to make you want to go back and feel comfortable enough to want to sleep with that same man or be with that same man, especially when this has been done repeatedly? What do they tell you? What is it that they tell you to want to make your mind to change or your body to even be receptive to want to be with that person? I'll be trying to wonder, what do they say?
So I will tell you first from what I've heard, and I'll tell you from personal story. So my situation, it was not what my ex-husband told me. Because for the moment you gave me one slap, first of all, I knew growing up, I knew what abuse was because I grew up in love. That's how we're raised. We were well loved. We didn't suffer self-esteem problem. We're, not that we're rich, but we were trained how to value ourselves and how a man should treat us. So we knew better. But in my situation was every time that I left and went to our auntie's house or my mom's house, they will say, okay, so you were here for 3 4 days because my family do not encourage divorce. And they don't want to be responsible that your marriage didn't work. And so they will say, you're here for 3 4 days, so we'll call him and we'll judge the kids, and they judge the kids. Okay, tell the guy sharp mouth. Oh, when I talking, she won't talk. What? She has to talk. She has a voice. No, I. Blah, 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 blah. So they'll judge the kids somehow. Just that, just one instance. And so they judge the kids. Okay, y'all go home. Don't let it happen again. But the person already think they bought you now because you know what? They already know when they give you one more slap or kick or where they or tear your clothes because you don't want to have sex. And then they know where you're going back to the family house, and stuff like that.
Go,
So
go
in
back, go
my
back, go back. Hold on. Let's process this a little bit more.
I'm going talking please, I'm talking fast, right? I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
talk
yeah.
fast.
I beg you. Let's slow down so we
Please
can
jump
process
in
this.
because I can talk. Blah, blah, blah.
Did you say, hold on? Did you say because you, hold on? Did you say because you
Please
don't
say
want to
that.
have
Don't hold
sex?
back. I'm not.
You,
That's my past life for 50 years, and I can tell the story openly.
let's talk about it just a little bit. Did you say because you don't want to have sex, so somebody hits on you or violates you or beats you?
Absolutely. Some men, they feel like if they marry you, they own you. You are their personal property, or you've been together for a long time, whatever it is. They think they own you. You know what I mean? So if they want to have sex, they fail to realize that sex must be enjoyed by two people. So if I say I don't want to have sex now because I just came from work or I'm tired or just having a bad day, I don't want to have sex 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then you must catch me at a good time. Try another time. First of all, you must understand that I don't want to have sex now. How about you try me 2 hours later? How about you try me for the next day or whatever it is? But no, it is, I want to do it. If it's not happening today, now, this moment, that fighting, that tear you close.
Then
And
that's
that's
rape.
why of course, yes, Papa. Then we didn't know that because what we're talking about now. I was in my 20s. Think about it now, Steve. I almost say I can call my age. I'm not ashamed of my age. But we're talking about what? 25 or more years ago. We moved past that. Hence the divorce. We're already mentally divorced. We just legalized it in America. But of course, so people have to understand that. Now, other people on the other side, and I will tell you what I've heard, other people stay, the man will come back and say, oh, I was drunk. Or not in my situation, I mean what I've heard from other people. I was drunk. Or, he loved me. Like this, my one friend. Oh, he jealous of me. He loved me and he just want to be protected. He said he was jealous and that's why he did what he did. I was just like, no, 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 no. But so different reasons. And again, you got a children factor. Most people, they're reluctant because of the children. Then obviously too, some of them not working or they don't make enough. Some of them just got self-esteem problem where they feel that if I go on my own, I just can't make it. Whether it be paying my rent, whether getting my independence, whether it be, doing what I need to do, they just some people just cannot live by themselves. They need somebody to push them, and so because of all those insecurities, they stay there. They're afraid to leap. And it happens even here, Steve. I used to volunteer as a sexual assault advocate with a police department in another city, as the sheriff department. So I've seen it here too. So it's not unique to our culture. We can only talk about ourselves because we know ourselves, right? But it happens. So it's also what they're telling you, but also to what's going in their mind. So you have to be, at that right place to say, you know what, enough is enough. I don't care if I start all over. I don't care if I eat sand. I don't care what. I am out of this. I've had enough. And nobody will tell you that. You have to come to that place. You muted. You muted.
I said this is an interesting conversation. To be very honest, I think we'd have to talk about this, and I'm glad that you're volunteering to talk about maybe your past experience or whatever it is. We'll have to talk about this on the mental health and wellness show, wherein especially when we come to the topic on trauma, because I definitely want us to talk about some of these things on a bigger picture. The time today might not permit us to go deeper into this, but in terms of religion and other things, one of the things that I have noticed and one of the things that I've seen being around is, first of all, people get brainwashed in religion. So I'll give you a typical example. Just this past weekend, we're on a soccer field, and we had to go to an event. And there was a pastor that was invited to the event. And this is the pastor's excuse. I was standing right there. I haven't done this for a couple of years now. So, I don't really like to do, I don't really like to go there and so forth. So I asked him this question. I said, well, if someone hasn't been to church for a very long time and you invited them to a church, should they boycott the church or not go to the church because they haven't been there for a very long time? I said, does that make any sense to you? I say, you see, this is the problem we have in our society. Y'all want to take the church away from the community or the society. But that's not how it works, though. I say, even the Jesus that we talk about, Jesus went to wedding receptions. You think what they were doing to the wedding reception? People were dancing. They were playing music. They were chilling. Right. I said, so you see, y'all misconstrued this information. Y'all misconstrued this whole word of God thing. You apply scripture where it doesn't need to be applied. You say things that don't need to be said that don't make any sense. There is no realistic comprehension of religion and the truth or the facts, and so it becomes a problem. So I want to send a serious message to our people. Let me tell you something. Your pastor needs to be counseled. Your pastor is not a counselor. He's not a therapist. He, first of all, does not even know what's going on. Probably he's an abuser too. Any pastor that will tell you, say they abuse you in your home, you can't let fast and pray, or you let's seek the Lord face, or you can't let talk about it, leave that church. I don't want to say anything to you, leave that church. That pastor is not a serious man. He's not a serious man. Or she's not a serious woman. Abuse that Holy Ghost thing. And I'm fasting and praying thing. That I'm fasting and praying thing. Any pastor that will tell you, say, don't call the police. Don't let the police to get involved. Leave that church. I say to you, that pastor is not serious. He or she is an evil person. I'm saying it. I'm responsible for my words. Then that pastor said needs counseling. Probably he's abusing his wife or he's abusing his significant other. These people brainwash you, and you sit there. Some of you, tell the part I don't understand. Can you imagine? So women even respect the pastor more than their
husbands. They believe in so much. And the pastor, to your point, can be abusive. I've read true life story where
most of the pastors are controlling abusive people.
Oh yeah, they're the mean ones. They're the mean ones. They will abuse their wife and their children all week, and then Sunday mornings. Not all of them, not some of them, especially in our African culture, abuse their wife and children Monday to Saturday, and then Sunday morning they're perfect. I know situations like that. I've heard, I've seen. So and also, Steve, before we go to, we don't want to make this a domestic violence discussion, but the issue of that lady, that especially the Nigerian lady, I mean both of them, but the Nigerian lady, it just stood out to me when they talk about the pastor and all of that, because I was just like, I could have been that lady, because the church was involved, the community were involved, and if I had not stood up disrespectfully, because at that point that it was disrespectful for me to, just tell and say, okay, if y'all think this is love or where it is, bye, Felicia. Yo, yeah, for me later. And go on. I would have been that person. Nobody in my family knew that I left. When I left, before I told them. And even after I left, the abuser was determined to still get after me. And it happens to me in this America. They still want to get even, as long as they don't get you to the floor. And so we just need to be the women, and it's not only unique to women. I mean, men can be abused too. I have friends where the women abuse them on a regular basis.
So Tia, let's start this piece into it, because this part is very important. Then we can move on to the last part. Let's start this piece into this. So can we agree also with Joy Howard Taylor, that Vice President Joy Howard Taylor, that parenting in this context also is very important, because some parents have been abused so much to the point wherein when they even see a sign or semblance of abuse, they shut a child down. They don't know how to handle it. They help cover up. Or some parents even welcome directly and indirectly abuse, rape, and sexual assault. For example, somebody will say, because of poverty in the country, you see your 15-year-old daughter bringing bag of rest. She doesn't work. You don't know what she's doing to get a bag of rest. But you welcome it. You see this man that of your age, or maybe older than you, coming, and your daughter introducing that man to you as her friend. You know what I hear people saying, oh, the person that my friend, somebody call me, the person that my friend said, slow down. What do you mean by your friend? Clarify it. I don't do that. You're the person that you're, who friend where? How can somebody who can born you 2-3 times become your friend? What you got to talk in common? So I'm saying this to say, yes, the church has a role to play. What is the role of the parents and the family as well?
Well, everything you describe, Steve, is 90%, 90 or 95% is a representation of the very Joy Howard Taylor. So she needs to do some soul searching. She needs to, first of all, tell her story and hold herself accountable first. I am a victim of that, because you know what? I also did not do well in this regard. Then you point the knife finger to everybody else. You can't be holding accountable when yourself didn't lead the charge, or you didn't even do the right thing. We come on here. That's a contradiction. We all were in Liberia during our days. The era of our husband. We were there. We just came to America the other day. We watched, we see, we saw, we heard. So it's not just internet. We were there. And even after, we've been seeing and hearing too. So what is she coming to tell her today? Let her start for herself first. Hold herself accountable. It helps.
Hold herself accountable. I think this is an interesting conversation that we would continue. But I wanted to say this, and I said it here before. If I were in the legislative branch of government where we're making law, I would prefer a bill, or I would push a bill wherein before you open a church, there will be a requirement or there will be a physical requirement you must meet, such as training and education. All they God call me men or God and they're problematic. That's why we got plenty of churches in Liberia and nothing is going on. The crimes are high, problems are in the country, and a lot of things going on. There must be some kind of requirement, some kind of whatever, educational training or whatever it is. You can't just say, God, I was not there if God called you. We were not there. We don't have no problem. God can call anybody. Somebody can be saying that God called them in the head. It's okay. But there must be some requirements that must be met. Such as you have to have a certain, in a country we see the BB pastors or the BB men of God, before, don't get me wrong, there's some crooks among them. There's some serious crooks, and people who are just exploiting people and collecting money or whatever it is. But for the most part, there are some requirements, there's some training, there's some things you must do. And most of the BB churches, if you really go there for truth, they dare not do counseling. Guess what they do?
They'll refer you.
They refer you, they have a different session,
Another
or they have a
session.
different person that's responsible for that.
Mm-hmm.
They are not your counselor.
No, they don't. But what not pastor in the jack or archery? That
No,
one. Nothing against our people, but I don't fool around with churches too much. I don't fool around them.
They know everything. They're the men of God. They're your spiritual father.
I don't.
They're your counselor. And when you go and tell your story to them, they tell the mother can gossip like hell.
She all in the community.
Soon people see you around. They small talking because you're lost out there. You got to call the mother then too. The pastor put the phone on when you explain your problem. The mother then too listening. And the mother then get there. Soon they finish talking that one. They go and call their friend in.
All their friend
in the test. They're talking before. So all of these things are problematic. There is no system. There is no structure. And they're just running the church according to them as how they feel and how God has told them to run the church. When God himself even told us that there are some things on earth that must be done. There are some earthly requirements that must be met. You know, none of them have any kind of formal education or any kind of formal training. They take the Bible, misapply, misinterpret, make it in a way that it will suit their condition or the situation that they're in. How in the world can somebody be? How can I be? What sense would that make? I don't have a car. I'm catching the bus, but I'm paying time for the pastor to ride a big car. The pastor can and Papa me in the car. He goes to church. He waiting for me to ride the bus to come and me in there. That one that sense inside, that Holy Ghost been in that one. They tell you say Holy Ghost want for you to be suffering. The pastor and children are chilling. The pastor children are going to good school. The children are not going to school. The pastor children are enjoying. They're traveling out of country. You're not enjoying. But then the pastor insists that you pay tithe every day. Or you pay. What kind of high level of criminality is this? What is this? I was just telling somebody a few days, and I think I said it before. One of the things I noticed about the Muslim, you never see Muslim people before pull up billboard or flyer to say they might do church contribution and raising fund for them to build a mosque. You never see it before? Nope. You will never see it because they're structured and organized as part of the 5 pillars of right to be a Muslim. You must pay your tithe. They educate them, they teach them. As a matter of fact, to even be a Muslim or whatever it is, they pray in one language. You must pray in Arabic. You can pray English. You must pray in Arabic. So you learn it. You learn it. So, you know, all these different factors, sometimes when we see them in Christianity, they're questionable. They're questionable. When you say this, the other people quite close to say, oh, my man, you know, you can't say this one. All the things that go on in the country, you not see the pastor and talking. The other time when they said they wanted to give Muslim people holiday, what did they do? And you saw all the belly-driven men of God to the place there.
No, belly-driven.
Belly-driven. They are belly-driven sold out. Belly-driven sold out. They're not in there. They just go for the stomach. They just want to eat.
They just don't eat.
And we go to Nigeria.
Why you can be picturing? You can be picturing Sir Joseph's stomach right now.
No disrespect. These things are facts. These guys are better driven sold out. They only go to Nigeria, come by and start speaking like Nigerian people. And our people too, when start speaking like Nigerian person, then you anointed. They come back with all these different things that the guy in the head, they may do all kind of funny things. Who in the world tells you to come and, oh, they got to give you a holy bath and you got to go and take bath in front of them, this person? What sense does that make? This thing is just a total mess we are in. You're not hearing the church saying anything. The church is not saying anything. Nothing. When last did the church speaking like, bro? Why you need Cotto Brown? Cotto Brown and Costa them. They undermine the protests. Cotto Brown got caught. He got caught. Bishop Cotto Brown, hell of a crook. He got caught. Bishop Cotto Brown, he been around. He's a serious crook. He the one over the council or church or whatever it is. Very unserious. They feel they're not getting small thing. You hear him talking and raising your voice small, act like you want to talk, but instead talking your throat. All of these guys, Very compromised. They're not serious about it.
What the other one that can be swaying also above?
Oh, as a winger, man, as a winger is a serious joker. I get them calling him. I know, Bishop. They get even the top of them for them. Bishop. Someone to the point that they get there when you don't call them. I knew one other pastor. He said he double revving. Oh God, we fall inside that country. What? I knew one other pastor. If you don't call him revving, he don't speak to you. Oh, hey,
they won't let titles.
You must call him revving. You call him one revving, a problem you eat.
We let titles.
You enter the church and you don't call him revving. Just call him revving. That you'll get problem. You must call him revving. So you see all of these different things. And the bad part about it, to be very honest, most of them are involved with this society. Most of them, their hands are in all of these different ritualistic society or whatever it is, whether for power, whatever it is. And some of them, they're homosexuals or they're confused sexuals. Mm-hmm. Yes, they sleep with the little boys. Right. They sleep with the little girls. Right. Yes, and you know the interesting part about it. Some of them, even their wives know about some of these moves that they make. Mm-hmm. 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 Very sickening and very sad. How can you be preaching on Sunday, but then you're part of a society group though? Okay, which one is which? You know, they're part of all these little cult groups. So at the end of the day, nobody respects them. Most of our men of God in Liberia, they are sold out. I'm saying that most of them, they're sold out. They make excuses for all these funny little things. They're as rebels. So killing for them and not anything. And I think I've realized that because some of us Liberians, we don't like to work very hardly. So we take on the easy way where we come and brainwash people. We don't have to justify the thing what we're saying, but people just have to follow our order, because that's exactly what the men of God thing is about in Liberia. It's about people following order and don't justify. You can't question the men of God. Oh no. Who are you to question the men of God?
Yes. Sitting up here, America here, you can't question them about anything for say your own tithe offering. Then you buy church member. You the worst church member.
Oh, you disobedient to the church. Mm-hmm. And you want to challenge the pastor authority. You want to challenge the pastor authority. I've heard and seen men of God who pass around and say you want to challenge the pastor authority. And to the point that somebody even told me, one time when we sat in a meeting and I was coordinating. Basically, I was responsible for part of the church where people are held accountable and so forth. And I asked about the tithe money because I pay offering to the tithe. And we're supposed to give the monthly report to the church. So making sure that everything was together, I asked for the tithe money. I said, well, I'm seeing the reports here, but I'm not seeing the tithe offering. This is a serious thing, tell. And the group of people who were responsible for the tithe offering, according to them, there's nothing for on them. They took it personal. Why I got to be probing into that? But that's my job. That's part of what I do. I need to make sure everything is in place for the reports and whatever it is. So I will have to hold you accountable. And it was not personal. I just asked a question. Oh, who are you to be asking that kind of question in the church? You don't respect anointing. You don't respect authority. I say, listen, slow down. We're not discussing anointing yet. Money and not anointing. Money that physical thing. My friends, where is the tithe? Y'all give us the figures and y'all give us the money that we give it to the church. Let them put it to the bank. Simple. Why we come in contact by nothing been here? Tell why I gotta ask that question, why I gotta say that. The people say they will go take 7-day fast. I say, yo, this is the threat they're giving. You will see what will happen to you. We'll take 14 days. I said, oh, yeah, I'll take 14 days. They say, yeah, I said, okay, but I will take 21 days. Then let's see who go and answer, because I took more days more than y'all. You want to threaten with foolishness? Because they don't want to be held accountable. Oh, I told them in the church. And all the other pastors, you're so young. And you know, I said, listen, y'all need out. I said, listen, y'all need out your nonsense. I'm not here for that. These people got to produce the offering. We're not going around it. We're not checking on it. We're sticking with it. And they said it will take 14 days. Let them take 14 days. I will take 21 days. We'll see who go and answer who days more than them. So what are they talking about? I said, that's a side point. When you're ready to start your 14 days, you're just signal me right after you're finished. I will start at 21 days. And we'll see who go and answer. Don't pass around with all these foolish threatening statements. And your team go out and you can just go and do all kind of funny little things. I said, I'm not about that. Let's stay with the issues. And right there in the meeting, I made sure they produced it, and we had a conversation that day before we left. I said, we're not adjourning this meeting. Oh, and we're discussing. Then we have the senior pastor call us, and we made the report to him. The little boy too frisky. I said, okay, say asking for money that friskiness, no problem. But I'm sticking with it. You all produce the money, or I resign. I resign right here because I'm not going to do that. Y'all bring people thing where you do. You're passing around, you're going to be covering for each other. And you see the older men in the corner said deacon or whatever it is, not to be judgmental.
Right.
They come to the church smelling drunk with liquor or whatever it is. Talking about, oh, let's go try in the corner. But I say, I'm not talking in no corners. I'm not going in the corners. We're talking it right here. I'm not talking that y'all bring people will go be that church business because when we go in front of the people tomorrow or day after tomorrow, they will ask these questions. You think the people in the church stupid? They're not stupid. So let's address it here. So I'm not going to talk no secret talk. Let the people make the report. And we hold it for about 15, 20 minutes. The news I was serious and I stuck with my position. I didn't go back and forth. I just stopped. Up until today, I'm still here. Nothing happened to me. They went for the 14 days. I said, I told my 21 day, go answer me. So I said, y'all can do nothing. You can do nothing. So let's forget about the other part. Oh, you will see what will happen. I said nothing will happen, man. You leave that thing.
Me a God call a speech.
Hey, what do I happen? Me myself will go with me on Sunday. Hey, every time I made a talk, I feel like the papa know what's up. I told the papa I will hold you accountable for But let's get to the last part here before we.
Before we get to the last part, though, a comment that I wanted for us to recognize. There's a lady that posted talking about domestic violence, how she lost her sister 13 years ago. To domestic violence. It's a sad story. And so I wanted to acknowledge her, for her to know that we saw her comments. And so it just made our point how important it is. And we should all be each other's keeper, whether, male or female. We need to, don't be ashamed to share your story. That's how I was many years when I was in Liberia. Nobody knew I was going through so much abuse. All they saw was that pretty face TV, size 0 TV, all on LU campus on Zion, all passing all around, but they didn't know inside of me, on my body, I was broken, broken. So, and I was so ashamed to tell a lot of people, but I told 2 people other than my family. 2 people, one is dead now, one is still alive, working with one of our government agency. So find people you can trust to talk to. Also, too, when we on the phones with our friends, especially the ones that we know in abusive relationship, or we're in video calls, we need to, read about the language in a way that sometimes they're not saying directly that being abused, but there are hand gestures now, that are internationally accepted that they can make and say that, sorry, I can't even count video, but I'll post the link in the comment, that they can make the hand sign to show that they need help, because sometimes the abuser is just right behind them. So they cannot talk, right there or where it is, because they know if they talk, they will get more beaten or they probably get killed. But at least when they make those hand gestures, then, you need to contact whether, authorities, police authority, or family or friend or something, or reach out to their home or where it is. So I just wanted to add that before we get to literacy or any other discussion. That's it.
Thank you, Tel. That's and like we said, we will dive into some of these things on mental health and wellness. And we have time to contact this sister who made this comment here, if she's comfortable enough to share her story briefly. Because going on after we finish with the next 2 sessions on mental health and wellness, we're going to be going into some of these personal things where people will be coming willingly to share their story, and we'll talk about some of them. So we're going to take another trend into the mental health and wellness. We're planning it. We're going to be having these conversations, and we'll learn from other people and their experience and so forth. And you will have the opportunity to call on and interact or whatever now. So we intend to make the mental health and wellness show more bigger and get people more involved. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about some of these things open, and we'll have some of these times. But tell, not to move away from this whole issue, like I said earlier on, and sometimes it might sound funny, but these are positions that when we served in leadership in the church, we took, especially amongst the Liberian people. Some of them did not like us, but today they respect the positions we took because you know what? This is how it must be. Some of you on Facebook think that, they wanted that kind of that. Call in Arizona and ask the churches or the church that was in. They will tell you the same position I take it straight up. I don't fool around. We're not going to fool around. No, we're not. We are not. So as I notice any kind of corruption, any kind of noise, we got to go. We got to go. And if you don't want to talk, we'll talk about it. And we expose it. Even the soccer team I was on, I told them, we go Canada, we go other places or whatever it is, they get small money and people want to be going behind the horse to be talking be talking the nose. So we kind of meeting, I tell them straight up, I say, listen, they got money, they collect their money. Let them kind of tell exactly. And if they lie about it, I will call the figures. Oh yeah, they know that one. Straight up, they will say that guy, Steve can give a hard time. Because our people, we don't like, when it comes, especially taking what's for other people, they don't like accountability. So you hold them accountable, they take it personal. So you call them out on the things that they're supposed to be held accountable for, they take it personal. But yes, we're diving into these topics. And I think, Charles, thank you so much for sharing your personal story. You know, all the time we've known each other, you've never talked about some of these things to me behind closed doors. Sometimes I'll be shocked when you say them in public. I'll be like, so you keep it for your body, yeah.
You know, we don't plan to talk about these things because some of these things are, past trauma, you don't want to reawaken it. But I think, sometimes this depends on this discussion, especially that woman, the second abuse in this month, the Nigerian lady. I was just like, man, this could have been me, so it just depends how the conversation, you just bring, peace here and there, nothing to call anybody out directly. Whoever wants to marry, if he's not already married, please feel free. He's on eBay, Amazon, everywhere. Feel free for him, marry him. But that's not the point. The point is just to point out the bad behavior. That's
Great.
all
And like you said earlier, some women are also very, very violent. Some women are very violent. But I say to you, though, it takes a lot to walk away from these things. Walk out. And we'll be sharing some of the tips how to, especially for the men, what are things you need to do when you're in a confrontational position. Some women, yes, they will stay in front of you and say, oh, so I've heard some people say, can you imagine that if you don't beat them, you're not showing them that you love them? I've heard that. It's not a myth, it's truth, especially among us Africans. I've heard it. And I have seen it. It's just an unhealthy place to be, like you said earlier. Very, very unhealthy. But let's come to this legit thing. Because one of the guys who I'm seeing on a picture, who I actually met here in Arizona sometimes back, I think I have pictures to that. I took pictures with him. I was invited. I know the Smith or whatever his name is. I was invited to some kind of event one night when he came. A couple of friends who are Seditians, who support the government, we still maintain our relationship. They invited me that night. He came and they introduced me to him that night. And I looked him directly in the eyes. And to be very, very honest, no disrespect to him, you could sense just the way he was acting, you could sense how when you crook and you corn at the same time. Just that kind of vibe I got from him. It just didn't look genuine. And these guys are the guys that President Weah brought around, and they're here today, and they're causing problems for the Liberian people. What do you say about what's going on with Legis in collaboration with the 2023 elections? What do you say?
I'll be very honest with you. I've heard bits and pieces of it. I saw the interview. You probably 50% of it. I came late when the first guy was on. The Williams guy was on, and then I saw probably 60 or 70% of the whole batch of them. what I would say, just based on the partial information that in the partial stuff I observed, it is worth looking into. Hopefully, the government is looking into the fact that they haven't conducted a census since, I believe, 2018 or earlier, or 2008. It is concerning. How are you even conducting elections if you don't have real time information or close to accurate data or census? Data drives everything in the world that we live in here, where information should be at your in figurative, readily available, timely information. How can you even come up with a result or survey and say and want us to buy as a credible study when you don't even have recent data? That is my first struggle there. Then talk about alleged, a misappropriation of state resources. So I think first the government needs to look into the matter, look at all the evidence, what was provided, and do their own extensive, investigative uh, search on this. Look into it. I doubt it whether anything's going to come out of it just because of past performance. We've seen President Weah doesn't fire anybody, or the most you would get maybe suspended, time indefinitely, I guess, so the water can quiet. And I understand one of the gentleman you referenced, he's type body with Twer, and the other gentleman is type body with the House of Representative boss, wherever the head of the house. So everybody got their connections there, So I doubt it's gonna go anywhere. But at minimum, I think it needs to be looked into on a deeper level. Steve, in America here, government agencies, we have agents, even though everybody work for government, but they got agencies that are responsible to audit other government agencies, and report the findings. I've had my fair share of those over the years, from whatever state to this state. I don't work in that area anymore, but still. So I think I heard, LACC, doing it. But in America, we have more than LACC. So if the attorney general not doing it, somebody else is doing it, where it is. But like that, you have that, you got that floor of check and balance and checking what they're doing, whether it is part of the annual audit plan or by whistleblowing or whatever it is. But it's definitely something you want to look into, whether it be the procurement process, whether it be the fraud, alleged fraud, just everything. It's worth looking into. So I hope they will look at it. And even people are focusing on the fraud, which is good, the alleged fraud. I wanted to look into that. But also too, they have to look into the structural process. Where you have Samuel Twer, who is the Minister of Finance, and he's the board chair. I kind of did a post on it this morning. Samuel Twer should not be there for all the right reasons. First of all, this man has not proven that he can even do his own job effectively and efficiently. And then talk about overextension, overreach, whatever you want to call it, conflict. Then you make him board chair of liches. How is that possible? So
But
there's something to look into.
but and sorry, I just got to interject
No,
this.
go ahead, please interrupt.
From a professional standpoint, though, don't you think this is a huge conflict of interest and this is problematic?
That's what I'm saying. So for all the right reasons, they need to be looking for, because you're talking about the conflict there. You're talking about, like I said, overreach or extension. You talk about inefficiency, So all the right reasons. Then you bring the fraud aspect. Then then you bring the procurement process, or the to see if they're even adhering to their own regulations, their own guidelines and stuff like that, or doing the right thing at most. But again, for all we know, if it happening over there, it happened to every other agency. It's almost like you need to audit the whole country. Everywhere. It's just rotten, because rotten from the top. There's an opportunity. There's something fraud. We say we have a fraud triangle. There's an opportunity right there. The opportunity everywhere presents itself, because the whole place is corrupt. So the people will milk it. Then you got a president who doesn't respect the rule of law, who doesn't lead, who doesn't hold nobody accountable. Where are we going? Nowhere. We're hitting the brick wall here. It's going nowhere.
So up to now, they have not conducted census. How can you trust these guys? And let me clarify this legis thing, what it really means, so that other people who have heard about it don't probably might not know. These guys, they're called Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services. That are legit. In other words, they're responsible for census, for other things, other statistics in the country, and they're supposed to be doing census after every 10 years. And to be honest, just for the record's sake, L&M did not do due diligence. Let's be honest. They were supposed to do census, conduct the census. They did not. Now, again, two wrongs don't make a right. Not because they did not do it. So that means this other government should not do it. The last census, like Jay Randy said, has been since 2008. Do you know what has happened since 2008 till now? We're going to almost 20 years. 6 years from now, 20 years. After every 10 years, I think 5 or 10 years, there should be census conducted.
Even sooner. You know how many things can happen in a year or two? Even sooner. 5 years, plenty. Even sooner. So these are the things that opposition, other people should be running with, Steve, quite honestly. But they're wasting their energy in all the wrong places. These are the things that should really be doing. Don't you think so?
Well, I think it's worth talking about. So it is. It's worth bringing light to some of these things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In as much as we can hold these petty crooks and criminals, try to hold them accountable, we must point the facts out here that it starts from the head and the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be very, very frank. If President George Weah means well for his presidency and for the Liberian people, he would be taking some actions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He would. And so all of these things that are going on, they're very shameful and embarrassing, especially in the 21st century. You have legis. If this is not money laundering or they're just funneling money in order to, you have legit with a budget of 18.5 million. What are they doing with that budget? According to them, they have about 156 employees. The question is, what are they doing with that money? If they're not doing the work for which they were broke, what are they doing?
So, but who's asking them what are they doing with the money? Because there has to be a regulatory arm or agency that's asking them every year, what are you doing with the money, including the legislature? What did you do with this money last year in order for us to give you more or less? We want to see the supporting document. We want to see how you spend this money. You have to account for taxpayer money. You don't just spend taxpayer money the way you want, the way you feel. That seems reasonable to you. There has to be adequate justification. And according to the law and regulations, that's what these people don't get. If it seems reasonable to me, but if it's not justified by law or by the guidance, it's a no-go. But you're talking about legis, Steve. What is true that whoever the alleged whistleblower or Williams, whatever it is, he spilled the beans, which is a good thing. But now who's to say that he's not part of the process and that he's not part of the crime? And he's saying it now because he's in a safe space, America, or because they suspended me. Because you know what? We've heard these things so many times, and based on work experience, chances are, and again, the little that I watched from it, he didn't make that noise ever since. So it seems as though I said the act is wrong, though. He alleging, but he's not removed from that too, because there, the little I saw, there was a 12,000 too that he requested for repairs on some generator or something that he did not even disclose on his 2 appearances on the very network. He was so busy pointing the other people out, but did not bring his own self out. So when you heard rope on hard push, so all of them need to be, as much as Liberian people hailing him, they hopefully they need to look at all of them, because he was in a position of authority too. He was in all of those meetings. Not at no time did he call a press conference or did he call, make a post about all of these things until he entered into safe haven in America. So with the other two that came, the other one that I think is in Philadelphia that came and talk about the man, the Freeport boss, and the other one who turned to pastor now. Well, I don't even know his name. that were talking about somebody else too. I think he be evangelist now on social media. All of them. You know, they wait until they enjoy the privilege of the Western world, and they start talking wow. I'm just like, excuse me. What did you say? Some of the people he said, like, brother, I say, but you know what? That doesn't remove you from the problem, especially when you are in a position of authority. You know, but that's just my 2 cents on that one, and they can cost me all they want.
Well, we'll take 1 or 2 calls, and then we'll call it a day. I don't know what you think, Tel. Should we?
Definitely. I think we said a lot today, and I think people may want to chime in. I got some free time. I got time to play today small. I always say you can tell.
Oh.
No, last week was crazy, man. This week it's okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the number is pinned out there. So feel free to contact us via that number. And yes, we are in a total mess of beautiful nonsense. Like Tel said earlier on, let me say to the Labrampo, let me say this to you. Me but no say, me are on our level. What are you contributing for Ukraine? Somebody house got burned. They stole somebody's mattress. Somebody having funeral. Somebody doing this. Man, 5 cents. Can I be paid? Nope. I'm not going to enable this foolishness. At some point, it has to stop. I'm not contributing to it. I'm not being part of it. If you call me, I will tell people to not contribute to it. It's a waste of time and resources. And I'm seeing some of you making excuses again to elect the same people. Please, you elect them. I'm begging you elect them. Y'all go and elect these bandits, these criminals. Y'all go elect them. Y'all go. Y'all make all the excuses in the world. Y'all please go and elect these crooks and these criminals. Y'all go for another 6 years. Y'all go. I'm begging you. Y'all elect president we are. That's the best thing that happened to you. Y'all go elect him. That one you're supposed to use to make people scared. I supposed to be scared of that one. Y'all see nothing. Y'all go and make all the excuses in the world to elect President Joe we are again. Or the opposition not serious. And we not see better candidate. And we not see the one. I beg y'all go and elect them again. I am recommending to y'all elect this same group of criminals that you have on your hand. Y'all elect them. And you think Jesus will can save you? You really think so? You're going to go put yourself in 12 years again. 12 years nonsense, you're going to put yourself inside. Y'all go. We probably will be here, we'll talk. But at the end of the day, ain't it correct? If I show you around my place, current on 24/7. Since I came to America, current never went. It has never gone. Trust that.
Yeah, even if you go, the way can come back quick sell before you even know it back on. If seconds, minutes is back on.
Let them go. Look, listen. Nobody should even campaign. Let them go and elect the people. I think that I'm also scared that who's will be scared. That who's will be scared. Who? I beg ya. Y'all go elect them and people are begging y'all. What can we talk? That y'all will be hungry. That y'all will get no current. These jokers are passing around disgracefully, trying to manipulate, talking about we are will fix it. We are said needs fixed. It needs to be fixed. Talking about we are will fix it. We are will fix what? We are will fix what? We are will fix what? The ring can for your pocket that do it for it. Just sit down there. Y'all make excuses to go elect them. Y'all please go. Me, I'm begging y'all go elect them. The one that will happen to y'all. The one that will happen to y'all. Because that one party men don't care, and they will just be reckless. And the international community will not even pay attention to you because they will say that why y'all won. And y'all were there doing church at that time. And y'all say, oh, you came my man, you came my power, vote for you. Before the American intervened, y'all know how many people died? Y'all know how many people died? And then the decision y'all made, y'all gonna make it again. Look, those who in the opposition, I'm telling y'all don't need to go make noise on campaigning. If the people are not suffering enough, I don't know how to say this thing. I don't know how to say this thing, but I'm saying it to y'all. Y'all go there. Y'all elect these people. Y'all go elect them. Y'all go. If your condition change and y'all like the condition you're in today, y'all please go and elect them. Y'all please go and elect them. Y'all go and elect them. If you think that's fine, and your children who 14 years old, 12 years old, whatever it is, y'all go get a future out. Y'all mortgage their future for free. For President Joe, we had to pass around and say, oh, he been yeah, ain't talking the other time they will eat their own words. And yeah, why ain't Kwame with them passing around? Anyway, he gotta do what he gotta do to keep a job anyway.
Man, you tell like don't keep that
Let
job.
them, let them do what they gotta do to keep their job. I see other day. Y'all go. Y'all go elect them, yeah. When voting time coming, listen, when voting time coming, you're not even sell your card there again for $10. Your banjo is for $5 or $2.50. I'm begging y'all. Y'all go do that. Supposed to say that that means they'll be scared. Get
Fix
a
this phone
point.
open.
Call her. What's your name? Where you calling from,
We got to
please?
talk.
So Randy.
Jay Randy, my man, what's
Hi,
going on? What's your take?
Hey, Sister, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. And Sister, thank you for taking that booster to tell all your personal story and the contribution that you provided on today's discussion. I think it was very insightful and very rewarding. It is up to everyone who listened and perhaps who will listen later on to take you and begin to cover themselves because it takes courage for someone to tell their personal experience out here. And I want to thank you so much for taking that step. I mean, I have two daughters, and abuse is something that I really stand against. And I will encourage any female or male who is in any relationship that is abusive to be very vocal and try to get out of that because it take away your dignity, your self-esteem. With that being said, I decided to call. I know there are many things that you guys discussed today, Moses, but the issue of the census has been something that I have been crying for because, like you said, Moses, every 10 years census is taken. We had never had census since Doe was removed from power because the last census American had was in 1985 prior to the 1986 election, and all those years has come and gone. So Ellie managed to change that by 2008. She took the first census, so that be children that were 10 years old at that time. By 2018, they were 18 years old. So Mr. Weir, after taking office, that should have been the first thing he should have done. But we have had several elections, and those who voted, we don't know the total population. It's just been projected by people who are expert in the country that look at the progression of our population. They estimate, you know, we will have the exact, we will have the actual when it comes to number. So what I would like to say in regards to that here, whether they do it deliberately or maybe they do it honestly, I don't know. Deliberate mean they know they're supposed to take it, but because it benefit them, they will not do anything. Honestly, they're not doing it because they don't have the resources. I tend to therefore we go for the two because it helps. Now, where I want Liberians to pay attention, come election next year, don't be surprised if things don't go right because the question is what happened to all those who turned 18 years old from 2008 to 2018 and who have been turning 18 years old for the rest of the time? What happened to that voter registration cards? I leave that one for you guys to think about it, and that's where I think I can end. Thank you guys so much, Moses. And
thank you, Randy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Well, Joe, I think we should call it a day. We're almost 20 minutes now, 2 hours over 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're over.
Yeah, I got something to also want to do, but
I'm gonna get back to work. But Steve, though, I'm not sure because I came out late. I think it's important for us to highlight the 78-year-old lady that was in the front page Africa today.
yes, it's.
You shared that, so that you go for it. You woke me up to that, so I'll let you go with it.
So there's a 78-year-old lady. Can you imagine? Just think about it. 78 years old lady that reported to Front Page Africa that she was in jail for 4 days. They didn't feed her, they didn't care for her or nothing. Can you imagine 78 years old woman? What is going on? At most, what is going on? This is very sad and this is troubling. That's somebody on a mom, that's somebody on a grandma. 78 years old woman?
And for her own, and importantly, she didn't even commit a crime. It was because her own goose that some police officers and her friend decided to take her plank. And poor woman wanted to talk about her plank business. And then, talking about abuse on all levels, you abuse her property, and then you turn around and violate her rights, to eat and to just be in a safe space. I'm just like, oh my God. So President we got a lot on his plate.
I'm getting one more call. Let me take this last call, please.
Okay.
I really want to add my voice here.
Yes, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Cindy. I really thank you, Steve, for picking up the call. I really wanted to add my voice to that 78 years old lady. And I want to say thank you to Front Page Africa for carrying that message, because I played it last week. Somebody sent it to me. And if you're on Facebook, if you are hosting, if you're doing a podcast, do not allow anybody to tell you that what people are not hearing you. I got that message all the way out of Liberia. Somebody says and speak on it, and I played. Then I called Front Page Africa to see if they saw it. They have not seen it. So they were going to go there and follow up with it, and I'm glad that they followed through with it. And you and SKTV and and you guys are talking it out. I got really, our people are hearing us. They are speaking out, and the beginning of change is to be able to find the strength, the nerve, the audacity to stand up to speak up. That old lady was able to speak up. Not when they didn't kill her. Exactly. They not even put her name on the sheet that to say she was in prison. Okay? So if she had not gone out, if somebody had not gone there to have seen her to make the report, that woman would have been in jail, maybe died in jail. They threw her body away. So all of us need to check on our people. We need to find out the abuse is too much. And I think President Weah need to do something about this. I think Musa
Dean.
Musa Dean needs to do something about it. I think the so-called SG need to do something about it. That woman is somebody's mother. That's somebody's grandmother. She is a Liberian. So I wanted to add my voice to that, Steve, and tell you thank you. And that reminder, and I think it was Brandy that did talk about it. We need to amplify this. That no kind of injustice is too small for or discrimination is too small to throw under the mat. That because it could be your mom tomorrow, it could be your sister tomorrow, it could be your brother tomorrow. And then I think I came a little late because I'm just getting off work, but I wanted to add my name to this particular one. And the last thing I want to say is the CPP issue that's going on in the court. All of us know that the document is said the document was there. They say was by mistake that it was taken out, and now we found it. So there's nothing there for them to be in court about. Momo was supposed to be in court today to testify. They said he was sick, but when the people went to NEC, they found out that he was there. So he was that sick. That's fraud and that's perjury. So I'm going to start here. And I know you're saying you guys have been all day long. Thank you.
Just before you leave.
Okay.
For the record's sake, because I think it's public knowledge that you are the Secretary General for the ANC Global, right?
That is correct.
And you are in position of leadership, right?
I am.
Okay. Let me make my open recommendation that I've made to your open it before. Let me make it to you as a leader. There in Zalan Cummings, that you are dealing with criminals and crooks. Diplomacy does not work with them. No, it does not work with them. If they want to continue to be fooling around, then you'll make the country busy. Simple. And Zalan Cummings has the resource. I don't want to say it. I'm not going behind the hall to go talking. Has the resources, knows what to do. He has the necessary connection. Josh Weah wants to play fool. Y'all play fool too. The country for everybody. And Akaras, I don't want to say it here. I don't want to say it. I take full responsibility for what I'm saying. And Akaras, they said they were going to make the country ungovernable for Ellie. The people won't bring noise in the town. They who's supposed to be the custodian of the town. It's like your own hall. You decide that you won't wake up all the children for you to make noise in the hall. If I'm one of your children, you will make noise. You will make serious noise. But you'll be saying that you'll be doing diplomacy, you'll be running around. These criminals will run you around. Let me tell you today, these guys will run you around. They will run you around. You ain't see nothing. You just started. You'll be there playing young guy. You'll be acting like they say that someone diplomatic company.
We are gearing up. The world is already watching them. I had a show this morning for 30 minutes. That's precisely what I told them. We are not going to go. Only do not understand diplomacy. They think civility is weak.
Y'all be wasting time. Y'all be wasting time. Hey, y'all been on it now. I go almost to, I don't know what, 6 months. The summer coming, y'all be in 6 months. Y'all be wasting time. Y'all ain't know that time, but y'all be wasting time. Look, if y'all bring some serious nuts in that time, John Weir himself, he will cut this crap out. Let anyone bring noise. Anyone bring noise. They won't fool. Y'all making noise. Y'all making noise and do something. That's how they put us to get up. Simple. They get resources and you're saying now you're talking about Serena see for them. Y'all go see Momo to you know hear anybody call Momo really see you for two. You know hear that put them.
You're funny.
They talking something serious. Yeah, the men need Momo. That's see what people. That's see what men there. So you be saying
Momo or Bobo? What do they need?
They need Momo.
Oh, Momo. Okay.
Yeah. You know, you have said Momo them be sure before. I don't have to see what Momo them before. Hey, people Momo need them normally they get them.
Funny.
Hey, guys, I will not see for that drain. You'll be playing games. You'll be here joking. You'll be joking, yeah. You'll be joking. We'll see you. We'll see you after 2023. You'll be joking with the criminals and the crooks. You'll be joking. Well, thank you so much.
All right, okay.
Yeah, call her consistent. Let me get a caller quick. They call her from Tennessee. They call her Hey Ha.
That's Prince.
I know who it is because I seen different. I get different number for Prince here.
Oh, okay.
I'll be saying that they're talking about they go see him to where they playing neck office. They see him sitting on the neck office. You're saying that you're playing. Easy. They call her call.
That's okay. It work out. We're about to leave. But you know, interestingly, on the lady, you know, in addition to what Yad mentioned, I thank her for sharing. The lady didn't even have the old lady didn't even have the opportunity to make her one. You know, that would say, yeah, make her not one call.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
My Gavini profiling me, you know that.
My man, when you call, people call you, but you don't answer the call. The next time, I pick up your call.
Oh man, I know what's going on. You know, we've been carrying it to me from the beginning, but for some reason, man, I know you got black my number.
My man, nobody brag your number, man. Nobody brag your number. Nobody brag your number, man.
Well, how come I call on my phone and it just cut off? It don't even ring.
Because that means to say your phone not register. Your phone, that private chief phone you get in the phone, man. That chief phone you get, man. My man, that chief phone you get, man.
We're talking in the back room. But my girl already reading me again. My girl didn't profile me to do that French shit. Because you know me, I would be calling a second no to come around. How people don't know that, you know, on this show, you have to be patient, you have to be persistent. SKTV don't choose or pick or select people. So when you see someone else calling the thing, you can just choose or no. We are persistent. We keep calling until we get through. Because we got a voice. We want to say something. And this is the platform that we all built over time for our voice to be heard. So, but thank you very much again for the opportunity. And, thank you so much for advocating for me, yeah?
You're welcome, Prince. Have a good day.
My man, what's your point? Quick, so we can go. What's your point? So we can make our announcement.
You took it from, I want to address two things in the census and in regards to the injustice that is taking place right before our eyes. But you kind of took it out of my mouth, so I will be brief on it. The ANC got to get up and protect this man who has put his life on the line for Liberia. ANC is an institution, is an organization. It's part of our democratic process. 127,000 people voted, gave this man a vote of confidence in 2017. If those 127,000 people sit down and allow this man's life to be put on the line and be put around and be kicked around by criminals and people who don't have no respect for the law, there is a shame on every one of them. Look, I respect the law. I allow the law to take place. But it's a saying that goes this way. It says that we are under all legal obligations to obey just law. But we are not under any moral or religious obligation to obey any unjust law. What is happening to me is completely injustice. The Serena Seaford, the WIA, the URA, all criminals get on this man. Look, listen, if they are four coming in jail from the beginning of the case, coming is all a jail by now by rule of law because the case is just a misdemeanor. It's anything. 4 months in jail, $2,000 fine. If they are four coming in jail from the beginning, even find him guilty, whether you are not guilty, once they accuse them for in jail, and they come is all a jail walking and doing it at business. If the thing coming is guilty, let him put in jail now. Then you go
find guilty and force to imprison him. Then he be the Georgia political prisoner. Then he go to jail now, and 4 months from now he'll be out, and he'll be going by the Liberian business and finding ways to bring solution to Liberia.
My man,
ANC needs to support this man.
You got 1 more minute. You got 1 more minute. You
Okay,
got to close, please.
the last thing is that, newsflash, there will be no 2023 election. And Georgia, a single day above his tenure, there will be an interim government. Because this censor here is the one that gave the mandate by constitution to have an election. If we don't carry out this censor before 2023, there will be no election in Liberia, and we will leave office as soon as 12 o'clock when his time expires. He will leave office, and there will be an interim government. The interim government will carry out the censor, and after the censor, we will have the election. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, let's call it a day. Well, listen, tell.
I have a call here.
Yes, I beg you, put that call in 1 minute. I beg you.
Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Ishmael Ibrahim, and I'm calling from Germany.
Okay, go ahead, Ishmael.
Yeah, Tevi, you guys, if you say you're talking for we the Liberian people, and we have been listening to you guys so many years, you need to slow down the pitch. One thing I noticed about Steve, no matter, you can be emotional to come to rescue the Liberian people. They wish me you don't need to condemn Joshua government or whosoever that is doing wrong. And then I see Prince singing and celebrating, frustrated somebody like running Dapple. Once the president is not in favor of the government, then he's so happy. It does not change. You said the other people are crooks, they are criminal. Then you only friend with people who talk against the government. Once you see them, you show to her on the platform that you are biased.
So what is it you want Steve to do? What is it you want Steve to do?
We enjoy the topic, we discuss the issue for the benefit of the Liberian people. But you don't need to be partial in your discussion. That is the government. So if better change want to come, the people who want to change the criminal government, as you say, they don't need to be backing somebody before we know we want change when they're doing the wrong thing. If coming are going to do the right thing, when they're dragging in court, that's Yasin Obi talking say the so-called SG. Then somebody can say you want interim government. This platform is not for that. And we enjoy the issue. That's why we stay here. That's why we take our time to listen to you people. David, your sense on good issue. More than need to cover his emotion.
Ishmael, let me hold you. Ishmael.
Steve, let him finish. Steve, let him finish. See, let him finish, please.
We come to that platform because we know that you have the information. But you don't mind your anger, the way you can talk, you need to respect people. Then the next thing to tell me, don't tell somebody say they turn to pastor. Nobody turn to pastor or imam. Nobody. If the person is not right, they're not doing what pastor is supposed to do, you can say that. But nobody ever turn to pastor. They are being called or ordained. So that is my contribution for today.
Okay, stay on now. Stay on. Okay, Ishmael.
Yes, Mom.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't that old. You call me Momo. I ain't all like that. No, stay on. No. Yeah.
Do you have anything you wanted to respond to Ishmael before I respond to him?
Yes, I wanted to respond to him just briefly because he said that I think the pastors then turn to pastor or something like that.
You said the person that one word turned to that one that turned to pastor.
Well, okay, so let me speak to that now. You finished? Because we talk, we have to talk. So okay, have an effective communication there. So when I said turn to pastor, that I said when they're having their problems, they turn to the pastor. They turn to the pastor in for help. And the pastor then misguide, not all pastors. Some pastors will misguide them to tell them, say, oh, stay there. So they're counseling them, they're praying for them. And I'm not only saying it based on what I've heard. I'm saying it because I walked that road when I was in Liberia, when I was in an abusive relationship. The pastor of a big mega Baptist church came to my house to pray for me and to pray for us. Even though they knew that my ears were being slapped and I was being stepped and I was being kicked and I was being ripped apart. So I'm not just saying that just from textbook or from newspaper. It's based also on experience. But I said they turn to. I didn't say the pastor turn because I know pastors go to theological schools and other ways they get there. So I wouldn't say they turn to. That's not my place to determine how they became pastors or imam. That's not my place. So I think that's where the confusion.
Okay. your point is understood.
Okay.
I don't want you to get me wrong. I'm not saying that the
It's
issue
okay.
you're discussing it's not nice. It's very beneficial to the Liberian people. But my problem on this SKTV with Steve is that
my man, listen now.
But you're repeating the stuff now.
Listen now.
So
Ishmael.
Some things that are beneficial to the Liberian people.
Ishmael. Repeating yourself does not mean that we're not slow. We understand what you're saying, but let me address it because we gotta close and go, man. We got things we gotta do.
Well, Ishmael, hold on. But you close already. You want close the kid at double close. So we value your opinion like everybody else. So we're not judging you. We don't have a problem. But we gave you 1 minute to speak. You spoke on what you wanted to say. I apologize for the confusion, and I'm also appreciated that you were able to bring that to my concern, to my attention for me to speak on your concern. That's fine. So let Steve respond to you if he wants to, and let's call it a day because let's hear that play thing we're doing here. We got what day job they want to put in bread. Whatever we got to do. We gotta go. So let's Steve talk to you so I can pay attention to my work.
And I'm not here to go back and forth with Ishmael. Ishmael, first of all, let me say this to you. Everywhere I say here, I stand by it and I take full responsibility of it. I'm not a coward. I don't fall in line with your praise and worship thing. George Weah is a crook and a criminal by all nature. He's employed criminal. Listen now. If you don't want to listen, then listen. If you don't want to listen, we'll have to let you go. Let him go because he's not a serious man.
Ishmael.
Nobody's on his time. Please let him go. I beg you, please let him go. Let him go because he doesn't.
Okay. I gotta let you. No. You can't control the conversation.
No, I beg you, please let him go, man. Please.
We gotta let you go. I'm sorry I hate to do this, but we gotta let you go because we're not this is not a debate.
He is not serious. You claiming that people are emotional. Let me say this to him because he's listening. And to all seditians, let me say this to you. Let me say this. Liberia is above George Weah. George Weah will leave power. He will leave power. Some way, somehow. Come what it may. Liberia is not for George Weah. Liberia is not for CDC. The nonsense that is going on in the country, these are things that can lead to violence. Let me say it. These are things that can lead to war. Let me say it. George Weah is a crook. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows. He knows about this case. He's aware. For Ishmael to come here and claim that I'm emotional, he's come here before and called me, I don't know, Besuluku or whatever it is. We joke around with it. But I don't take kindly to you guys who support this government. When people want to say the truth, then you'll come here and you want to censor what I say. Are you kidding me? You really want this? My brother, we'll have a different thing to do for real. Because this is a serious matter. I'd rather the ANC stand up now than it escalating into war. I'd rather them standing up now and putting stop to this nonsense. Because these are things that can lead to war. When people are disenchanted, when you step on people's right, we are talking about 7 or 8 years old woman put in prison or in jail and not fair. Do you know what that means? And you come here, you want to come and lecture me, talking about you think what benefited Liberian people? What benefited Liberian people? What really benefited Liberian people? Tell me. For George Weah to pass around and fool around when people are hungry, and they said nothing about things that are going on. The princess case that are going on. What have they said about it? Or you think that Alexander Cummings case? You really don't think people are hurt? People are hurt in that country, my brother. You sit in Europe and you call on here and you think this is a joke. If you think everything is well in the country, move back. Move back. Don't come here with your CDC and psychomotree mentality and you think you can kind of position some of us to want to fall in line and talk for you or the government or whatever. You think I get time for that nonsense?
Coming up, I gotta fall off.
Yeah, but tell we gotta go. For real, we gotta go.
That's why I tell you, I got a BT coming, I gotta run. I gotta get ready for BT.
Yeah, we gotta go. So Ishmael, I have said to him and I'm going to say to him and other citizens, President George Weah is a criminal. I say it and I stand by it. I say it. He's a crook and a criminal. He is not a serious-minded leader. He is not. Corruption on him. He said he wanted change. They wanted to bring change. He's come and exacerbated the situation and made it worse for our people. And I'm supposed to say it and and swallow my words and mince my words and walk on air shelf because you get Ishmael and other funny CDs and misbehaving. You better go find somewhere else. If I can call Joseph Human Boaga smooth crook, who can bomb my mind, bomb my pa, that Joe we are, you ain't see nothing here. You ain't really see nothing here. You ain't see nothing here. You ain't see nothing here, your CDs. You ain't see nothing here. The only problem I have with the ANC, they are too diplomatic. You're not in church. The sooner you get this team and nip it in the butt, the sooner these guys will fall in line. Remember they wanted to try that nonsense to Dylan when Dylan told them President Joe, the only problem I have with Dylan was Dylan goes and I take by my word, I'm supposed to take by my word. It's like, yeah. But we'll leave it for another day. You can go on your CDC show where they can call President Joe, we are saint. Where they can call him data, where they can call him all kind of funny needing to patronizing. I'm not into that. I'm not into that. Nope. I'm not into that. I don't fall in line like that. I say President Joe, we are a crook and a criminal. Because his government has been surrounded by a bunch of criminals. He employed all these criminals. And who employed them? Who employed them? They fell down from the sky? He is a crook and a criminal. He's addicted to criminals and bad people. One Bodisky, he the one recommended one Bodisky for that position. Now who? Those who sit there and joke around with ANC, oh, President Joe, we are, and that a leader, and a leader myself, we are a leader too. When I'm a crook, let it come in crook. It is what it is. It may you vet, that's fine. But I'm not going to be staffled. I'm not going to be, I don't do that your thing. I don't worship no leader. That's not in my nature. I don't do that. I know a bunch of you are sycophants. That's fine. That's why you're chose. I'm not going to do that. The ANC people, it's sweet for you. It's sweet for the ANC people. You keep wasting your own time. You think Serena Seaforth will lay you to slap? You think that religion yet? You really think that religion yet? I don't get radical. You'll be saying that there, be jumping around, be making it look as when I fast and prayer thing. The criminal, they will keep you over there. They will. Let me tell you something. First-hand information. Let me stay here today. First-hand information. The goal is for them to just be dragging the thing around, be pushing you around. That's it. Nothing that they don't want to do. There is nothing. That is the only goal they got now. They will be making all the excuses. They will be doing all of this. First-hand information. Some of the things we don't even talk in public. We don't, because you're set to your get problem. You're set to your get problem. You're the ANC people. That one make I don't even pay attention to yourself when you're ready for your thing. I don't pay attention to you. You're the diplomatic party. You're the diplomatic party. You're go. So people that who want to lead, they want to be serious. You think that the radical can take? You really think to get peace or to get power? You think that joking thing, especially from criminal? You're saying that there. You'll be saying that there. Yeah. You'll be saying that. You'll be fasting and praying. We're looking at you. Me and I get time for ANC. ANC people won't come for them to talk the case. We ask them here. They might come and talk the case. They don't want to let them go sit down somewhere. Let them go to the place where they can be promoting. The people who they can be promoting. What time ANC people now promoting this station? When? Hey, y'all can be sharing spoon and other people there. What time you're not promoting yet? What time you're not kind of say anything? So when people even insulting or saying we convince people with that one, with that one, sometimes it just really gets to me. That's why I don't even want to be identified with those kind of things they say. Because you're on my own interest. People then who they insulting for you on a daily basis. When your ANC people hire your want to review or whatever it is, you're invited on there? You're not invited. You're not invited to TV. So we don't care. We don't care. The legacy said tomorrow, I say, Serena Seaforth, I show you face, we play keyboard like business. I don't care. For me, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Say who won't care, let him care. The day you're ready to be serious. Stand on my call and be making fool out of you. Stand on who don't even understand what's going on. He said, I don't know what's going on. He might call you, make fool out of you, call you small. 1 or 2 times. He said, oh, yeah, running at that. They're looking at you, they're laughing, they're making fool out of you. All of you, they get making fool out of you. I don't want to say anything, they're making fool out of all of you. All that thing what you're doing. See, bro, that's my bestie, yeah. The other person that's my bestie. You think politics are high low? You really think so? One thing I get CDC respect for. You go against George Weah, you speak against George Weah. Do you know how many CDC friends that can speak to me today because I call George Weah a crook and a criminal? And I stand by it till today. Do you know how many of them? Do you know? I even got families that support this government. Some of them don't even talk to me because of my stand, my position against the government. And it will not change. I told them. The child say, Marcus Lee, second sleep. It will not change. My stance will not change. It's not going to change. The day the situation changes, my stance will change. So your ANC people, I wish you good luck. You enjoy. It is what it is. It is what it is. Miss it to you. If you make one or two radical moves in that country, trust me, their case will be gone. And you see what you people are doing? And you people are sending open threats that if they don't get on the ballot box in Lofa, there will be no election. And you people are sending open threat. UPS not in Labura. UPS, they're not in Labura. They're not Labura too. Oh, that you're the one, the Holy Ghost party. That you're the Jesus, Gion party. That's it, and they let a bunch of criminals run you around. I had a Holy Ghost Gion party. Just be there. Jesus Gions. Jesus Gion and Mr. Kumi, you'll be there yet? You'll be there. You'll be there. The people that who you're honor my own interest, you're honor my yourself, that your business. Me, I don't care. I'm not part of no party. I'm not getting no interest. I'm not a stakeholder in none of your things, so I don't care. The day you get serious, you're ready for business for then yours. You take one or two. And see what UPS doing? What are you people doing? They're threatening the peace and the stability of the country. They say there will be no election. They threaten. I know that they're being one to make it because they get the resources. But y'all who get the resources, y'all can act. Y'all can make one or two things to happen. Y'all can shake some things from a strategic standpoint. You're sitting down there making a joke of them passing around. That Serena Silvers will still be passing around. That the other funny minutes will still be passing around, be positioning y'all. And you can't complain. We saw the other person over there to neck. We saw the other person over there to neck. Listen, the men are playing just as they wanted for it to play out. We'll call it a day. We'll call it a day. Liberians, let me tell you something. Liberians, they like people who are like this. You know why they like Chattel? Chattel doesn't fool around. I don't fool around. I say as it is. Me, I don't fool around. I say as it is. Yep. Just as I am, the high I am. It's not going to change. While we're in the church, while working in the church, go Arizona and ask. They will tell you. I don't go gossip. Say right there, and we'll do it right there. We'll go. That means it will be in your lab. Small talking. You want to talk something, but you get it in your throat. Biggie, yeah. Anything I want to say, I say. Anything. Y'all tell ANC people, y'all tell is an committee. The goal is to run your around. Y'all know the goal already. But you're saying, what we do for y'all? Y'all need to get in action. Y'all need to get in action. The 15 counties need to be busy. You get resources to mobilize people. And you say that, what is fire truck? What is water truck or whatever it is? How many police people they got in that brother? How many policemen they got in Monrovia? Do the calculation. And set and plan strategically what you want to do. When you're sitting there, you're passing, you're giving yourself a hard time, you're making noise, you're just making for nothing noise. Let these stupid people in the night so run you around. And you'll sit there and you'll say this and that. Try that thing. You'll try that thing. Soon you'll try it 2-3 hours. When the country start getting noisy, international media and start pulling in to see what's going on, they men will fall in line. Who told you say they men are stupid? They're not stupid. They know the only language they understand. You're getting yeke on your side. Oh, man. I don't know what kind of group of people are these people. For real, I don't know. I don't know what kind of group of people are you guys, though. I don't know. I don't know. You think to be president in Africa about church business? You get resources. You're sitting on resources. And you get a bunch of joker there. Making you to sweat around. So we don't see for you to stay on the issue talking about. And you see how come reduce in the body, and you see how come use. But let's leave that thing. So we can talk in public, man. We can discuss it behind closed door. Wait, the noise that will be in the town, it will not be easy. It will not be easy. When Joey move from there, he will behave himself straight. The day he hear ANC name, he will say, no. He will call a cabinet minister, you don't go to that other place. And they try that thing to Delon. You saw after that time they wanted to attack Delon before the senatorial election that no go Zoom here, and there can be no go Zoom here. That CDC no go Zoom here. Inside Delon 10 radical 1 minute. That the only language these guys understand. Let me tell you today. That the only language they understand. CDC don't understand diplomacy. They don't understand you're going to the table to discuss. Because once you go there, they will undermine it. But let me give you the announcement. We're out of here because I need to run quick for class. Thursday, we're having someone from the Progressive that will be here to talk to us about the Progressive and so forth. So Thursday will be on. Friday, no mental health and wellness. The following week, we'll have it. I said to I need some break. I need some chilling time. But we'll see you on Thursday. Unless something happens, we'll see you on Thursday. Take full responsibility for everything I say here. I have no regret for what I say here. Nope. And I'm not taking it back. I'm not DeLong. And I'm not one of your politicians. I think about what I say before I say, I'm not taking it back. Everything I say, I mean it. And it is the truth. So, Ishmael, you can go and think what you want to say what you want to say. I mean and I stand by what I say here. Yep. And I don't back down from it. Good day. Stay blessed. Let's have a good time. I've got to run. Let's find a friend. Quick, find a friend. Let's move.
Learn.
Yeah. It's
Find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. If you not want betrayal, find a friend like me. Find a friend like me.